Wayne Brooksby now takes advantage of a slip from Pete. Brooksby towards the edge of the area, cuts in field, takes a shot from distance. Wayne Brooksby with the left boot hits the bottom right hand corner, and the former Ferriby man comes back to haunt the side that he once played for.
Hello and welcome to Guiseley AFC Radio. Well, here we are, the second leg of the playoff semi-final between Guiseley and A.F.C. Fylde. Got to say, the weather is not the greatest. There is a lot of rain at the moment, but both sides are here, both sides arrived with plenty of time, and this promises to be just one of them great games for Guiseley. A piece of history can be made. Can Guiseley get to the playoff final? We certainly hope so. After what happened last year against Altrincham, you will hear all the updates with full match commentary with Colin, Robertson and Nick Keefe starting at 3 o'clock. This promises to be one of those nervy days, I've got to say. Everybody is feeling it at the moment, and well, we are ready. You can join us live for the full match build-up starting in a few moments' time.
Brooksby now on the edge of the 18-yard box, comes charging in, plays the ball across the base, goal! It's into the back of the net, and it's Adam Morley's who has scored Guiseley's third. Lions are in dreamland this evening.
Well, hello and welcome to Guiseley AFC Radio. I'm Tom Feaheny, joined with David Kendra. And Dave, first of all, the Guiseley v AFC Fylde were here. We'll just quickly say the weather, very quickly. What was it like?
It's very, very cold today. It's really dropped off quite a lot. There's a lot of rain, a lot of wind. This is a quite open ground. There's very little to protect you from what's quite a cold wind, a bitterly cold wind coming through. And that's something that the two teams are going to have to contend with today.
Well, it most certainly is going to be a very tough game today, this match. For Guiseley, it's going to just be one of them moments for the Lions. They will hope they can get through to the match. And, well, if they can get to that semi-final, they will be ready for that final. We don't know who they'll be playing at the moment. It will either be Boston or it will either be Chorley. Currently, that game is 0-0. We will be talking about that match as well. But Dave, just talking about this game, that 1-0 win that Guiseley gained on Wednesday, just how big an advantage do you think that will be for the Lions?
Well, it's certainly an excellent start, and the performance, I think, was almost more important than the result on Wednesday. That Guiseley played better in that game than they have in the last 3 or 4 matches, to be brutally honest. And part of that was because they had a very, very strong team out. They've had injuries. They've this season they've been inconsistent because they lose a player here, they lose a player there. They've lost Ben Parker for a long time. They lost Danny Ellis. Wayne Brooksby's been in and out of the side. So it's important to have that Guiseley have got all their players at full strength today, ready to go. Encouraged by Wednesday's victory and really ready to attack Fylde today. A note of caution, of course, there's a sign at the far end of this ground that just says "Stop us if you can." And Fylde are going to come at us today, and they're going to come very strong. And we saw on Wednesday they can break down the wing very, very quickly. They can cause Guiseley a great deal of problems, and the Guiseley are going to have to produce a very similar performance to Wednesday, a very organised, very disciplined performance, particularly from our two full-backs today, Ryan Tilson and Danny Lowe. They're going to have to really concentrate, not switch off at all. It's important that we don't concede if we can avoid it, and if we do, that we can break forward quickly and cause them problems, because they're not unbeatable, that defence, and we really can get at them.
On Wednesday, although it did only end 1-0, it was one of them games where both sides really did have 4 or 5 big chances, some good chances as well. Do you think today, though, the weather could play a part in that? Because there does seem to be a bit of a wind as well, and I know that the last time Guiseley came here, it ended 0-0, and it was a really tight affair. Do you think it might be a bit tighter than it was on Wednesday? Yeah,
I think on Wednesday it was a fairly nice. It was fairly warm. The pitch was good. It allowed both teams to play their natural game. Whereas today, I think it's going to be a little bit slippier. There's that wind that's going to affect the flight of the ball. It's raining. That ball's going to slip around in in a penalty area situation. There's a potential for more mistakes. I think today what we're going to see is a much scrappier affair. Fylde have to come out and chase the game. They have to come out early doors. They have to attack with a lot of energy early doors. Guiseley have to be prepared for that. I think it might break down a little bit towards in the second half. Might break down into quite a scrappy affair between the two. Might be a fair few tackles start going flying in once the enormity of the situation starts to become apparent.
I'm going to say they're looking at the experience that Guiseley have in terms of when they're in the playoffs. Although they have had a bit of heartbreak, obviously the Altrincham game last year, 2 years ago, Halifax Town, and I know that can play a part in going against Guiseley, but also a lot of these players have that experience of being in the playoffs and are ready for the occasion, while AFC Fylde, they have been going up automatically a lot of the time, so they haven't got that big pressurised experience, you could argue.
Well, I suppose, yes, you could argue. I think Fylde are a very good side. But I think a lot of you're right, there are a lot of players in the Guiseley side who were in that dressing room at Altrincham after the game last year and will remember that feeling, and they won't want to feel that feeling again. I know I don't. I don't want to stand on another rainy terrace in Lancashire after a narrow defeat. So, they'll remember that, and that might work in their favour. I think we saw that against in the two games against Chorley in the league. That first game against Chorley where they played well but narrowly lost, I think fired that home win. When Chorley came, Guiseley were more ready and determined not to let them in, and I think that's what might see them through today.
Well, speaking of Guiseley and speaking of that game against A.F.C. Fylde, Mark Bowers spoke to Colin Robertson after that 1-0 victory.
Joined now by Mark Bowers for the first leg of the semi-final, the 1-0 victory over Fylde. Obviously, the cliche goes, it's obviously half-time, but you must be pleased with that first leg result.
Definitely, yeah. We'd have taken any lead coming into the game against a strong side on a good run. 10 matches unbeaten with, a lot of wins in that run as well. So any kind of victory is a good victory. Thought it was a very even game for probably 70 minutes where, we could have had a few more goals. Maybe they could as well. And then, last 20 minutes we had to dig in a little bit and did some last-ditch tackles and that kind of thing. Bodies on the line, but, did well. And if you looked at the game as a whole, I think, we had as many sort of clear-cut chances as each other. And, obviously it's half time and a tie, and I'd rather be in front than behind.
Tense watching, especially in the last few moments there of the game, as a couple of clearances off the line too. Must have been difficult to watch from the bench.
Yeah, it's we've not had that too many times really under sustained spells of pressure like that. So it was good for the lads that stood up to it. Like I say, through the bodies on the line, everything like that, all the old cliches, and ultimately, got the clean sheet. It's a really good clean sheet for Drenchy, the back four, and for the whole team. I think we could have probably made it a little bit easier for ourselves. I thought when we won possession ourselves, I don't think we used it as well as we could have done in the second half. Had we got our foot on it a little bit better, made better decisions, I think we'd have restricted the amount of pressure that they put on us. But we gave the ball away a little bit too much in that second half, which invited the pressure onto us. So hopefully do that better on Saturday. But again, still created chances. We had opportunities to for that second goal. And but if you'd have offered me 1-0 before the game, I think we'd have taken it.
Jake Lawler as well popping up with a goal and had a very solid performance at the back. He seems to be boosted since he's been the Sports Player of the Year.
Yeah, good for Jake. He's obviously been out with an illness. There's a bit flying about the dressing room. It's like a pharmacy in there at the minute with paracetamols, ibuprofens and antibiotics and what have you. But the lads have got themselves out there, and Jake's been short of a bit of training, but reads the game really well, gets himself in good positions, and I thought defensively we were good, and himself and Hawley have got a good little partnership going there together, and fingers crossed we might be able to keep a little pairing together between now and the end of the season. So pleased with the victory. It's certainly, like I said, would have taken it beforehand, and I think the lads can take confidence that we can up our performance from what we showed in the second half, and even then we created chances. So if we can just be that little bit better on the ball and show that little bit more quality, we're capable of getting one or two more goals ourselves.
So finally, quick turnaround then for Saturday, and we can travel across. It's not a long trip. It's a short turnaround though for you, isn't it? 2 days off, and for the game. What do you do to prepare for it?
Nothing really. Like I say, we've had a little bit of a bug going through the dressing room, so we'll keep everyone away. Anyone that has little knocks or little bumps, whatever, they'll see Martin, and we'll get everyone as best prepared as we can. But it's just staying in touch with everyone, making sure everyone's fit and ready to go again on Saturday. And we know our roles, we know what to expect from Fylde, and I'm sure they know what to expect from us. So it's just about that, preparing the bodies and being ready to go again for who knows, 90, 120 minutes it might be. But two really good sides. I thought it was a good advert for the league. Got some good football played. We're at that stage of the season where the pitches are a bit bumpy and can make it a little bit difficult to play. But I thought both teams, played well and put on a good show. And really, I think 1-0 should have been, probably 1 or 2 more goals either side for each side. But look forward to the second game. I'd take a drab 0-0 now.
You and me both. Cheers, Mark.
Mark Barr there with Colin, Robertson and Dave. Mark very confident there, very positive as well, and that reflects on the team sheet which has been distributed to us for today, because it is the same 11 as that game on Wednesday. No surprise there then?
No, not a massive surprise, I don't think. And we talked a lot about before the last game and before this about consistency in the Guiseley lineup and how it's worked against them this year. So it's important, I think, that you keep that consistency. They played well on Wednesday. There's no real need to change it. They could have equally, as well as Fylde played, and they could have scored a couple of goals. We could have scored a couple of goals more, I think, as well. So it's important, it's important to keep that consistency over the 2 legs. And I do think that's our strongest lineup we've got today.
And it has to be said, A.F.C. Fylde, they've kept the same squad as well. And I think it just shows you how that game on Wednesday, how both sides took positives from it, because it was one of them where Fylde, they could have very easily got a few goals. Guiseley could have got a few more. It was just a very good game of football by both sides. Yeah, it was an excellent game of football. To say there was only 1 goal, but it was a real tussle between 2 very good football playing sides. Fylde, in that second half played a whole lot better than the first. They forced a couple of really excellent saves from Steve Drench, and they'll come away from that thinking they were unlucky not to get a goal. Well, talking about that lineup, we will be going through it in a minute, but the captain, Andy Holdsworth, he spoke to me after that game on Wednesday, and he was saying that the job is 50% done. Tom Feaheny with Andy Holdsworth after the 1-0 win for Guiseley against A.F.C. Fylde. Andy, halfway there, 90 minutes done, but the task now is all on Saturday.
Yeah, but we knew before the game we couldn't win the tie tonight, so we've got an advantage. We're going to Saturday's game now and work as hard as we have done tonight, and can't see a problem. Just how important was it to get that advantage while you're at your home ground? Yeah. It's always an advantage to get in front. So got a good goal. We hung on a bit at the end. But saying that second half, we created numerous chances where we could have gone 2-0 up. But like I say, the tie's not over yet. It won't over tonight, so we all know it's Saturday that counts. It was a very open game. You were having to do quite a bit of defending near the end. Just how did it feel? Because during that first half, Guiseley did have a couple of good chances. Yeah, it's football. You know it's going to be swings and roundabouts. They're going to have a spell. We're going to have a spell. But I thought the lads dug deep tonight and showed the quality we've got, especially going forward, especially first half, but also defensively as well. We stayed strong and we kept Fylde not scoring. So we've worked hard tonight, but like we say, we go again, recoup and go again Saturday. I was going to say, with Fylde, now it's 3 games unbeaten in the league. Does that play a part going into Saturday or not? Not really, no. It's a cup final. All playoff games are cup final, so like we say, we'll go over there, stick to his game plan. They're probably going to throw the kitchen sink at us, but we're going to have chances. You don't go through a game without having chances, so hopefully we can take one of the chances and take that advantage more. You played a big part in the clean sheet, because just right at the end you cleared the ball off the line. What happened there? Because how near was it to going in? It wasn't me, it was Liam Dickinson. Drench has obviously come for the ball, got nudged, and it was a foul. It's dropped, and then Liam stuck his leg out and kicked it out of play. But I think in the collision, it just shows that even strikers are coming back and defending and putting the neck on the line to keep a clean sheet. And going into that game on Saturday, just what are you expecting? Are you expecting it to be a really open game? Not really. No, I think it'll be a tough game. Fylde are a good team. They showed that tonight in spells, so it's going to be a tough game. We know we're going to have backs to the wall at times, but like I mentioned earlier, we're going to create chances because of the attacking players that we've got, and it's good pedigree for us to have going forward. But like we say, keep a clean sheet with one tie.
Thanks for your time. Well, there's Andy Holdsworth talking to me after that 1-0 victory on Wednesday, and joining me now is Guiseley AFC's Twitter official, Tom Swallow. Tom, you followed the club for the season. Just what are your thoughts? How nervous are you going into this game today?
Well, it was a good performance on Wednesday, and obviously it's very nerve-wracking. It's semi-finals, but Guiseley, they've had a good season. Obviously, Fylde the top scorers overall. Score more goals than anyone, and they're at home today. But with that 1-0 lead, it gives Guiseley a good chance of getting the result they need to go into the final.
And I know that you know some people from Hyde. They've wished Guiseley the best of luck for today.
Yeah, that's true. They were saying today that they, hope Guiseley can get to the final and, hopefully go up. I mean, there's been a lot of heartbreak in the playoffs for Guiseley before, and it will be great, if they can get to that final and, get up to the conference. That would be brilliant.
And I know that you were talking to me about Jake Lawler being named the Supporters Player of the Year. What were your thoughts on that when it was announced?
Well, he's been so consistent this season. He's been a solid player, and he really deserves it. There's been quite a few standout players, though. I mean, obviously Adam Boyes has been scoring the goals. Ollie Johnson, when he's been playing, he's been excellent. He's usually been the difference maker in the team. But so guys at the back, Danny Lowe has been excellent as well, and so a lot of good players all around in the team, and hopefully they'll be on their top form today and can get that result. You
were here for that 0-0 draw, which happened all the way back in August. What did you make of that game, and do you think it will be different today?
I do think it'll be different. That performance. I mean, it was cagey. It was an edgy game. It wasn't the best of games, and but with the weather today, it could be similar. But hopefully North will get a bit of excitement. But then again, we'd take 0-0, wouldn't we today?
We most certainly would. And Tom, just finally, what is your prediction for today? Do you think there will be some extra time? Do you think it could be penalties? Or do you think it will be decided before they're needed?
Well, like I said before, they've scored the most goals this season, so we're going to have to really watch out. They've got Rich Allen up front, who I think has scored 20 league goals so far. So he's one to watch out for. I don't want to pick a result today, but hopefully guys that can get the result, do what they need to do. Even if that's like holding the 0-0 draw. But sometimes sitting back, it might not be the best thing to do. Go out and attack could be the best option. So hopefully, we'll get the result today.
Well, thank you, Tom. Well, just the final interview that we will be going through before kick-off at 3 o'clock with commentary with Colin Robertson and Nick Keefe, and that was with Danny Lowe, who helped keep that clean sheet during the 1-0 victory for Guiseley on Wednesday night against A.F.C. Fylde. Just, Danny, what are your thoughts after that? We're halfway there.
Yeah, half the job done. It's important not to get too carried away. We know obviously it's going to be a tough game going to their place. They're not going to give it in our front child, they're going to give everything. But take nothing away from tonight. Obviously home advantage to begin with, and you want to go there with a nice lead if you can. Definitely not losing the game, but definitely with a lead, and that's what we've done.
Just how important is it for Guiseley to be going into that away game, because it'll be tough with that 1-goal lead?
Yeah, it's obviously a fragile scoreline, is 1-0, but obviously to beat us in 90 minutes they've got to score 2. And I thought first half we dominated, second half for all the chances I thought we were probably the main culprit for that. We invited them on, we were sloppy the first 10 minutes, and that gave them a bit of impetus, and ever since then we was kind of, you could say, riding us luck a bit, although we did create a few chances. If we'd just had a bit more desire at times just to get that final ball and to get across a man. But no, all in all it's a good night. Do you know what I mean? Like I say, home advantage, you want to go there with a lead, and that's what we've done.
I was going to say, it was a really open game, both sides with plenty of chances. Did that surprise you?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, obviously there's no away goals or anything like that. Two good teams, footballing sides when we try and get it down. So obviously, I never thought anyone would come here and sit on the 18-yard box and play for a draw or anything like that. Because like you say, it only takes one bit of bad luck and you can be out of it. So two good sides that went at it, and I think it'll probably be a game again Saturday.
We drew 0-0 with them in August. Do you take any of that performance and that game into this?
Yeah, of course you do. I mean, obviously, what's happened in the league, you can't really take into it, but they've not beat us once this year. So obviously that's a positive thing, and we've kept a clean sheet tonight. So we'll go there full of confidence. We've got a 1-0 lead to protect, but we definitely won't be going there sitting to camp on the edge of his box. We've seen tonight when we get it down and get at them, we got them rattled, and to be honest with you, a little bit disappointing in the first half that we're a little bit more quality in the final third. Maybe we should be going in with more than a 1-goal lead.
And Jake Lawler with the crucial goal, one of your defenders. Just how good was it to see him getting forward and getting his head onto that?
I say to him every week, it's about time you got an end one. Get out and end one. Laughing at him. I call him the tree. So it's nice, obviously, for him. The occasion that it is, we know it's going to be tight. The big man's come up and he's produced, and let's hope. And I thought he defended extremely well as well at the other end. So let's hope we can all put in the same performance as a team. And it'd be nice if Jake could pop up with an early goal at their place.
Thanks for your time, mate. Well, there's Danny Lowe speaking to me and talking about the importance of Jake Lawler, who he calls the tree, which I know on the coach down here today that there was a lot of laughs about the fact that Jake Lawler has that nickname now, which I don't think Lawler knew much about before that interview happened. But it just shows you, just talking about Jake Lawler, he's had a fantastic impact on the squad, supporters player of the year, and been a consistent throughout the whole season in terms of playing in defence or midfield.
Absolutely, he's a fantastic player, and that's quite a good nickname. I think the tree. He's tall, he's solid, he's dependable, he's always there, and of course he leafs in summer. So leafs, as in not leaves, not leafs. I don't know. I've gone again. Shall we talk about the teams, Tom?
We'll talk about the teams.
Yes.
So, looking at the AFC Fylde team, Dave, you're going to go through that. The numbers 1 to 11. I'll just let you compose yourself. Dave, go through them, mate.
Okay, AFC Fylde team. In goal, Ben Hinchliffe rather. Number 2, Luke Denson. Number 3, Adam Sumner. Number 4, Josh Langley. Number 5, Tom Hannigan. Number 6 and captain today, Brad Barnes. Number 7, Richie Baker. Number 8, and we all know about this one, Josh Wilson. Number 9, Danny Rowe, who caused us such problems on Wednesday. Number 10, Danny Lloyd. And number 11, Richie Allen. On the bench, Joe Booth, Michael Barnes, Liam Thompson, Matty Blinkhorn and Dion Charles.
And well, I'll go through the Guiseley team. In net, it's Steve Drench. Then you've got Ryan Toulson, Danny Lowe, the captain Andy Holdsworth, Danny Hall, Jake Lawler, Wayne Brooksby, Danny Boschel, Adam Boyes, Ollie Johnson, Gavin Rothery, and on the bench, Liam Dickinson, Alex Johnson, Jack Stockdill, Nicky Boschel and Steve Dickinson. So like we've said, the teams are the same as the ones that played on Wednesday, because both saw positives from it. But just looking at Guiseley, are you surprised that maybe they haven't just been a little bit more defensive?
Blossoms. I should have gone for blossoms, not leaves. Blossoms in summer.
It's good to know that you've been thinking of that,
I've
mate.
just been thinking about that. I got that all wrong.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah, we'll leave the puns to Nick for later, shall we?
Nick, the master of a pun or two. But just looking at that, the teams, and do you think Guiseley are going to be in a position where Ryan Toulson and Danny Lowe won't be going forward as much as they did on Wednesday? Or do you think that because it worked so well on Wednesday, they might just keep going at it?
It's a difficult call to make. I think what they did was get the balance absolutely right on Wednesday between staying strong at the back and sitting back when they needed to sit back and pushing forward when it was necessary. That's why it was such an excellent performance from those two players. It is more difficult away from home. You push forward too far, you leave yourself exposed at the back. I actually think both teams will go out thinking, you know what, the way we approached the game on Wednesday was the right way to do it. Fylde just fell short then. Guiseley got a goal and managed to hang on to it. So I think we'll see quite a similar performance from those players. Maybe Danny Lowe and Ryan Toulson won't bomb forward as early as they were doing on Wednesday. I think first 20 minutes, half an hour, it's important that Guiseley stay very tight. It's important that they stay solid and they don't make any silly mistakes for that. Just get settled into the game, and because Fylde will want to wrap this up early, I think they will want to come out, attack Guiseley and get themselves 2 or 3 goals in front by half an hour, and that's obviously what Guiseley want to avoid.
Well, when you look at the playoffs, very much mind games can play a big part in it. After the game, both managers so positive, saying that both managers delighted with how their teams had played. Obviously, A.F.C. felt a little bit disappointed they didn't draw the game, but when you look at these two managers, both are positive for a reason, and it should, and I'm probably going to jinx it now and it will be a bad game,
Don't say what you're going to say.
It should make it for a good game.
yes, it should make it for a good. I think it should be a good game anyway. I think both teams are really up for this game. Obviously, it's a playoff semi-final. One win and you're in the final. Another win and you're in the national conference. So the motivation is absolutely there for both sides to make this a good game. I think maybe the conditions might work against them a little bit. I think they might get a bit leggy towards the end of the game. I think we might see a couple of mistakes. Hopefully not from Guiseley. Stephen Drench was absolutely immense on Wednesday, particularly in that second half. If he pulls in another performance like that, Guiseley have every chance of coming through this game.
And the great thing for Guiseley as well, they've actually taken one of the stands and it really is full, and it is fantastic to see. Hopefully the Lions fans can be making plenty of noise, and that can have such a big impact, give the players just that little bit of a boost, maybe if they do go behind.
Yeah, I think Matt was particularly effusive about the atmosphere on Wednesday night, and it was a fantastic atmosphere as well. Really positive, two sets of fans who've come to support their teams in a very important game. And so the PA guy just came and did his PA announcements right in front of us. That was a quite extraordinary moment. He's got a radio mic. Why don't we have a radio mic? We don't have that kind of budget, Tom.
I think we're going to have to talk to Colin about that for next season. But just
that depends if. No, anyway. No, I mean, it's great. Guiseley fans are fantastic when they turn out in number, and they've certainly turned out in number today. They have, as you say, taken up one stand behind the goal, and I imagine in the second half they'll try and move around a bit more. I think what would benefit this game today is a great atmosphere, a lot of noise, a lot of singing from both fans, and we saw it again on Wednesday, and I think we'll see it again today. I think it'll be a really entertaining game. Hopefully, we can get a bit warmer. Because this wind really is biting right through us. I can't feel my fingers.
Well, just to explain, we are literally 2 rows of seats up, and it's a 4-row stand. So basically, there have been balls that have been going in, nearly hitting us. So a bit worried about the equipment, and well, we've got good reason to be by the looks of it.
Anyone going in for a sturdy challenge on the halfway line near us we're in serious danger.
Just talking very quickly about another game that's happened not too far from here. Got to talk about it. Blackpool, what's happened there? Bizarre to see what's happened in the 50th minute. Loads of fans running onto the pitch. And Dave, can you believe that's happened?
Well, who believes anything anymore about Blackpool? It's extraordinary, that situation there, that it's deteriorated to that extent that the fans feel it necessary to do that. You have some sympathy for them that the club's they feel the club's rather been run into the ground by the owner. I think what one of our colleagues here was pointing out was it's got to such an extraordinary. There was a mobility scooter on the pitch as well. It wasn't just people running onto the pitch. There's a mobility scooter there, which means someone's really made an effort to get that onto the pitch. That is how strongly they feel at Blackpool. I understand that game's now been abandoned, which is extraordinary, which sort of leaves a slight quandary. What do they do? I mean, it's the last game of the season. I don't think either club had anything particularly to play for. So do they replay that game? Do they just call it quits? Do they play it behind closed doors? There's going to be a lot of questions asked about that, and I worry for Blackpool next season, because that's the sort of thing that can bring on points deductions.
Most certainly can. So high drama there. Not too far away. We are here now. There's just under 5 minutes to go. Dave, very quickly, just what is your score prediction for today?
I'm always a bit wary of putting score predictions on. It's a little bit like standing up and loudly saying nothing can go wrong now. I don't want to do that today. I think it'll be a very tight game. I have to say Guiseley are going to win. Of course Guiseley are going to win, but I think it's going to be very, very tight.
Well, I'm looking at a scoreboard now which says 0-0, and that is how I actually think this game will go. I'm predicting it'll end 1-0 to Guiseley on aggregate.
I think if you offered me that now, I'd probably take it.
Well, I think Mark Barrow would take it right now. If you could tell him that the side will be in the final, I think that's the thing. All 4 managers would take that final whatever way it could come, really, because when you look at it, the 4 sides all very even, and really a combination of any of the 4 could happen in the final.
Yeah, I mean, the other tie's still at 0-0. They're playing this afternoon, so we could be going to Boston or we could be going to Chorley, and Fylde themselves will fancy their chances against either of those sides as well. I don't think any of the 4 sides can look at any of the other 3 and go, well, we wouldn't want to play them or wouldn't want to play them. I think whether we get Chorley or Boston, presuming we get through today, then I think we can be confident of finally, maybe, I don't want to say it, maybe, Maybe, possibly. Remember, Tom, it's not the despair that kills you.
It's the hope.
It is the hope.
And, well, I am feeling quite hopeful at the minute, so thank you for that, Dave. But just final point now, because the players are in the tunnel. Mark Bauer has spoken about how when the big games come this season, Guiseley have performed. Do you think we'll expect a good performance yet again from the Lions?
I don't see any reason why not. That's our strongest team out there. It's a semi-final, second leg. It's within Guiseley's reach. A good performance today. Same performance again as on Wednesday, and we're there.
Well, we most certainly are. A.F.C. Fylde's team, and they are actually in the tunnel. Looking at Martin Stringfellow, the Guiseley physio, he is just walking out the tunnel. So Guiseley's players, they look ready. We are now just 2 minutes away from kick-off, and, well, the nerves now are getting to me a little bit. I'm going to be honest with you, but Guiseley, they do look ready for this game. Speaking to a couple of the players on the coach beforehand, they really were calm. The definition of calmness, they were having a joke, playing some cards, while I was panicking on the coach. So hopefully they won't have looked at me and taken any of that on board. But let's just get on with this game now, and let's hope that we can get the win today.
That's what you want. Calm, focused, determined. Come on, Guiseley. Let's do this.
Well, the players are now walking onto the pitch, and that is the time I will pass you over to Nick Keefe. But first of all, Colin Robertson.
Well, thank you, Tom. Thank you, Dave. Excellent build-up as ever, and we look forward now to the important action on the field as the Lions take to the pitch alongside Fylde. The two sides coming out now with the mascot behind, led by the referee on a very drizzly, cold and windy May day, but it's certainly weather that won't impinge on the players' ability to play at full pace this afternoon, and we can certainly expect a full-blooded, very committed afternoon of football. So let's go through those two teams. First of all, the home side Fylde. They line up with Ben Hinchcliffe in goal, Luke Denson, Adam Sumner, Josh Langley, Tom Hannigan, Brad Barnes, Richie Baker, Josh Wilson, Danny Rowe, Danny Lloyd, and Richie Allen, who makes his way back into the side in place of Michael Barnes, who's on the bench, alongside Joe Booth, Liam Thompson, Matt Blinkhorn, and Dion Charles. For Guiseley, in goal, Steve Drench, Ryan Toulson, Danny Lowe, Andy Holdsworth, the captain, Danny Hall, Jake Lawler, who scored the goal on Wednesday night, Wayne Brooksby, Danny Boschel, Adam Boyes, Ollie Johnson, Gavin Rothery, and then on the bench, Liam Dickinson, Alex Johnson, Jack Stockdale, Nicky Boschel, and Steve Dickinson. Very bright and exciting afternoon, I'm sure, is ahead of us, I hope. Or it could be, again, a very disappointing and heart-wrenching defeat for us. One of the two. The two sides now on the field, and Nick and I are both squeezed into the compact press area that we have here at Fylde, just like ours at Nethermore. It's very much a game in great demand from the press, and we are taking our positions right in the halfway line, ready for this game as the two sides go through the coin toss with the referee, Mr. Ollie Yates. Nick, what are your thoughts ahead of this game?
Well, you'd only expect rampant pessimism from me on an afternoon like this, wouldn't you, Colin? And that's how I'm feeling right now. I think an awful lot rests on how this game opens today. We know that we have players like Ollie Johnson who are best in the opening part of a game, who are impact players. And I think the first team to score will have an enormous amount of impetus and momentum in this game. And frankly, I hope it's an early goal for one team or the other, because the scenario I'm dreading is 0-0, 91st minute, home goal and play extra time and penalties.
Well, you might want an early goal for either side. There's only one side I want an early goal for.
I just can't cope with the tension if we're sitting at 0-0 for 90 minutes today.
Two sides now ready to kick off. Fylde will take the kick, shooting from right to left as we watch in the stand here. Guiseley playing in all yellow in the change kit, and Fylde get the ball forward early doors. And it's with Brad Barnes at the moment, the captain, who plays it back here to Luke Denson inside his own half, sent long up over the head and then into the area. And early goal for Fylde. Richie Allen a ball over the top within 25 seconds of play. Guiseley have been pegged back to level, sack pegging. A very, very early start for Fylde of perfect nature, and what a soft goal to concede, but what a good run from Richie Allen.
Well, that's an absolute nightmare start, and I said I thought that might be an early goal. I'm sorry. That means we've got absolute level pegging. We've got 90 minutes here at Kellermere Park. It's 1-1. The entire fixture is on.
You just want them to raise themselves now. The lads, they've looked pretty disappointed with that start, as you'd imagine, and immediately they take the kick-off with Fylde leading by 1-0. Guiseley now pegged back to 1-1 after all that hard work at the end of the first leg to concede so softly early on in this game. Now Rothery on the ball for the Lions, lays the ball square here to Danny Hall. Under pressure there from Danny Lloyd. First to be called Danny Lloyd is Danny Lloyd McGoldrick, but we'll call him Danny Lloyd for ease of sakes today. Ball sent forward towards Adam Boyes. He can't keep it in, and it's out for a goal kick. Well, that's just the worst possible start, isn't it, Nick? That is just absolutely gutting, and a soft goal to concede as well. Just a tame ball over the back four, and a runner who's not been tracked. One of the worst goals I think I've seen us concede.
Yeah, it's really disheartening, and looking out at the players at the moment in yellow, they look a bit shell-shocked, to be honest. They haven't really touched the ball yet in this game. They haven't got started. They're looking shaky at the back even as we speak, and they've really got to get started now.
Adam Boyes chasing after the ball up against Langley and Hannigan. Langley gets the clearance in. Guiseley win the throw. Langley claims that there was a foul on him, but referee doesn't agree. The ball comes in from the throw. Ollie Johnson doesn't control, and it's cleared up to the halfway line, and Fylde come forward again. Danny Hall goes down with his shirt pulled. Danny Hall, doesn't go down. Danny Hall pulls the shirt, of Danny Lloyd. Danny Rowe, even. I'll get my right Dannies in a moment. There's an inordinate amount of Dannies on the pitch today.
There are certainly plenty to choose from, aren't there?
1-0 to Fylde. 1-1 on aggregate. Free kick to Fylde on the halfway line. Sent long. Headed away by Ryan Tilson. Picked up here by Sumner. Sumner floats the ball in towards the edge of the 18-yard box. Nodded down by Brooksby into the feet of Gavin Rothery. He loses out and gives it away. Rothery works hard, ever so hard, to win it back from Richie Baker. Eventually Ryan Tilson clears up to the halfway line. At the moment, Fylde are enjoying a lot of possession of the ball inside the Guiseley half. And then a free kick's given against Danny Rowe, up against Andy Halsworth. And the ball goes back here to Danny Hall. Guiseley need to mount a response. The ball sent out towards Danny Lowe, who'd made a good surging run down the left flank. He couldn't win that one. Andy Halsworth has to battle to win possession back for the Lions on the halfway line. Then Adam Boyes steps over, gives it to Ryan Tilson. A cool moment of passing possession football for the Lions for a spell. Played long eventually by Tilson up towards Boyes. Headed out by Hannigan. Guiseley get the throw.
And this is just an opportunity to move the players up the pitch and start to have a think about getting their own game started.
The ball at here with Tilson into the edge of the 18-yard box. Brooksby into Halsworth. In towards the edge of the D, headed away. Halsworth back here to Boschel. Danny Boschel on the halfway line. Goes back to Danny Hall. There's a scoreboard here today, which allows us to keep check on the time, but it's not telling us what we want to see at the moment, with Fylde leading by 1-0. 4 minutes gone, and it seems like a long time, this first 4 minutes, with a soft goal being scored by Richie Allen after just a matter of seconds into this game. 20 seconds or so before Guiseley were brought back from 1-0 lead from the first leg. So hard fought, so hard worked. And the ball went in the back of the net within the first minute. At the moment, Fylde just knocking it around. Have yet to beat Guiseley this season, Fylde, but they're certainly doing it at the moment. The first time they've taken the lead against us in 3 games. But what a start, and I'm sure they wouldn't change that for anything at the moment.
No, they've done exactly what their manager would have asked of them, which is go out and get themselves back into the tie as quickly as possible, and really couldn't do it any more quickly than they did.
Danny Hall sends it down the left-hand side. Adam Boyes nods on. Ollie Johnson has to do well to win this one out on the left flank. Guiseley having a little foray forward here down this left-hand side. Ollie Johnson cuts in field. Plays the ball into the area, up towards Boyes. Beyond everyone, flicks up. And into the hands of the goalkeeper. So we have to tell Tom just to stay in his chair and stay calm, because he's going to knock the kit all over, who's just getting a bit animated in front of us.
Tom has to remember he's part of our three-man wall defending our laptop from throw-ins and balls going out of play here. That's what he's here for.
Guys, you have the ball in the left-back position at the moment with Danny Hall.
And in fact, he's playing the most important centre role of that with the two wingers, Chris and Dave here.
He's ball still in the Guiseley half. I don't know quite what to say to this.
I'm going to start looking at the bright side.
Ryan Tilson up to the halfway line. Wayne Brooksby up against the fullback Sumner. Cuts in field, gives it to Gavin Rothery. He's dispossessed though. The ball goes back in towards the edge of the 18-yard box. A mix-up inside the 18-yard box. The goalkeeper has to come out. He clears. Just a little sign that there's a potential for a mix-up in amongst that defence. I think it was Langley and Hannigan who ran into each other. The ball hadn't been pursued by Boyes, otherwise it could have been interesting for Guiseley and an opportunity for Boyes to capitalise. As it was, they got the ball away, and as it is, Fylde are now pressing Guiseley at the other end. Andy Holdsworth just conceding possession back to the home side. Danny Lloyd now into Baker. Long one forward from Denson. Guiseley get the header away with Lawler, but it goes back to Allen. Allen goes in towards the penalty area, is tackled, but at the expense of a corner.
And that started with Guiseley losing the ball really cheaply in midfield. I don't think any of Guiseley's midfielders have hit an accurate pass, to be honest, in the first 8 minutes.
On the left-hand side, Fylde will take the first corner of the game. They lead by a goal to nil. 1-1 on aggregate. The corner comes in towards the near post. It's all over the place. Headed up in the air. Still in with the home side as they eventually poke the ball across the face of goal with Josh Wilson. And Guiseley again get it away with Danny Hall. At the moment, though, Guiseley just haven't settled at all and need to really get a grip of their own performance here. Andy Holdsworth to Jake Lawler. Lawler looks ahead. Lawler hasn't any options. Guiseley a little static. And not without the zip and verve we have seen from us attacking teams. And we've come out of the traps fairly static, in these early stages.
Well, I think what's happened is Fylde have picked up exactly where they left off on Wednesday night, and it's just surprised Guiseley, and they haven't recovered yet.
Holdsworth square to Danny Hall into that centre circle. Danny Hall is closed down by Rowe. Hall sends it down the left-hand side. It'll be cleared by Langley, picked up by Boyes, out to Ollie Johnson. Ollie Johnson cuts in field towards the edge of the 18-yard box. Pass doesn't connect with Boyes, and Fylde get it away. And they then send it down the left-hand side, and Allen's got some space to work in, but it's just beyond him and out for a Guiseley throw. At the moment, everything's at the perfect start for Fylde. Perhaps possibly the worst start, not only in terms of the goal, but in terms of the way the game is setting up.
Well, the only thing you can say with even a glimmer of optimism is that at least the goal happened early in the game, and there's plenty of time for either team to try and take the lead. It's only all square. It's only 1-1, and I'm sure Fylde have got the momentum at the moment, but there are 80 minutes left.
One each in the playoffs. We don't like them. Jake Lawler sends it long, overhit it, and it's out for a throw-in for Fylde in left-back position. There's a lot of football still going on in league action. Luton Town are leading at Stevenage. It's settling the places in the playoffs in that division. Shrewsbury 0, Plymouth 1. Also important as Shrewsbury's aims for the playoffs, and as are Plymouth's. Guiseley defending again, the ball up to the halfway line. Boyes battling to win the ball back, but Guiseley can't. Danny Boschel then helps it forward. Down the left-hand side, Ollie Johnson chases, leaps above Denson, gets the head onto it, but Denson anticipates where the ball's going to fall and clears. And now Wayne Brooksby onto the ball Has he got any space whatsoever at the moment on the field? Hall has to go back to Danny Lowe. Danny Lowe back to Stephen Drench. And the Guiseley goalkeeper beaten after just 20 seconds. Lays the ball out here to Danny Hall. There's a bit of triangular passing into Lawler, and then a poor touch from Wayne Brooksby. He's dispossessed, but Guiseley win it back. Then Danny Hall sends it down the left-hand side, headed away. Again, Guiseley lose possession out here with Ollie Johnson trying to win the ball back, and he concedes a free kick against Josh Wilson, and it'll be a filed free kick just inside their own half.
And just what we've seen in the last few minutes, Guiseley moving the ball around a bit better in the sort of back four defensive midfield area, and Fylde giving them just a little bit more space and time back there. But as soon as we've moved the ball up the pitch, they've closed the Guiseley players down, and it's gone ragged and loose again.
Ben Hinchcliffe will take the free kick, the Fylde goalkeeper making an advanced position. Just wondering about this wind, whether that's a factor in the early stages of this game. The ball goes long. It's very positive football from Fylde at the moment, committing players forward. Yeah, Allen, the goal scorer, floats another one into the box. It's a good weighted ball over the back line, though, and back into the hands of Stephen Drench.
Yeah, it's worth saying the conditions are really grim, aren't they? Obviously for both teams, but it's cold, it's wet, it's really windy. And I doubt any of that's adding to the Guiseley players' moods right now.
Guiseley win a free kick just inside the Fylde half. It's taken quickly. Adam Boyes in the aerial challenge goes down. Danny Boschel now on the ball. But Guiseley have just lost the momentum in that attack, and now it's gone back. Patient ball, though, good one towards Danny Boschel. Doesn't follow the ball quite right, and he plays it out right to here, Adam Boyes, and then it's out. And it's these little moments here at the moment. That one, a good pass there from Toulson into the feet of Boschel. He didn't control it first time, and then the pass from Boschel out to Adam Boyes, not quite right, not kept in, and it's not quite coming together yet.
No, it's not clicking at all, is it? And the longer that goes on, the more it'll start to feel to the Guiseley players like it could be one of those days, the more it'll feel to the Fylde players like it could be their day.
1-0 to Fylde. 13 minutes gone. Guiseley with a free kick inside their own half in right back position. And Ryan Toulson will take. Toulson lays it back to Lawler, and apparently the referee decides it's not quite in the right place. It really doesn't make any difference. Lawler takes it, then he takes a bit of a heavy touch on it. He was chased down by Rowe. Guiseley forced the ball back, though, into the Fylde half after conceding possession. But again, just another sign. It's just not working for Guiseley at the moment. Then touches are off. A lot of nerves out there, I think, on the field at the moment, and Fylde are capitalising. They're in possession of the ball again. Allen into the feet of Rothery. Now he gives it to Boschel. Boschel threads it through towards Boyes. Boyes gets past his man, goes down. Referee doesn't give anything, and then it's shanked clear by the goalkeeper Hinchcliffe. Only as far as Gavin Rothery on the left-hand side. Chests it down up against Denson and Lloyd. Lloyd gets the tackle in. Guiseley have a throw, and Rothery claims a push, but nothing's given on this occasion. Throw taken by Guiseley into the feet of Ollie Johnson. Nice little flick from Johnson into the area now. Finds Brooksby. Brooksby shoots, completely misses his lines and flushes lines, and it's behind for a goal kick.
Well, the idea was there, wasn't it? He's flicked it up with his right foot onto his left. Of all the things Wayne Brooksby is as a footballer, a left footer isn't one of them, I don't think.
But it was good to see the ball get into the box, and it was a good little bit of build-up there, including Ollie Johnson and Danny Lowe getting more headway down that left-hand side.
Yeah, and I'm just watching, Andy Holdsworth is out there directing traffic at the moment, Danny Lowe as well. We know they're both vocal leaders and experienced captains. And it's going to take a bit of that from the Guiseley players to raise themselves and get organised.
Well, Jake Lawler's not happy. He goes to win the aerial battle with Danny Rowe, and it looks like there's a little nudge in the back. It goes beyond him, and in this instance it happily goes out for a goal kick. But there's an interesting battle building up between Danny Rowe and Jake Lawler. A moment.
Yes, and it'll be interesting to see what the referee makes of that tussle.
Stephen Drench's clearance doesn't even make the halfway line from the goal kick, so that wind is clearly having an impact on this game. The ball played out to the right-hand side where Denson helps it down. Lowe controls it and then takes it past the oncoming Lloyd well, and then has to look for options down that left flank. He chips it in the general direction of Boys. It's headed out by Langley, and it's going to be a Guiseley throw.
Well, I think what you spotted is right, Colin, is the sideways passing's all right, but everyone that's been knocked forward has been miles away from its intended target.
Guiseley now building up down the left-hand side. Ollie Johnson just can't control the return ball from Wayne Brooksby. It's poked out of play again by Fylde as Guiseley make up a few yards down this left flank. Danny Lowe with the throw-in into Gavin Rothery. Back to Lowe, up towards the edge of the 18-yard box. Boys chests it down, loses a second flight of the ball, bobbles around, falls kindly for Fylde. And Josh Wilson lays it back to Allen. Richie Allen, he plays it down the left flank. The long servant for Fylde. He played the ball down the left-hand side, and Jake Lawler nods out for a Fylde throw inside the Guiseley half.
So, Fylde playing the man, not the ball there, the fans. We all hate Yorkshire. Jolly good.
1-0 to Fylde. They may sing at the moment, but it's still only one each. We're still level pegging, and this game still remains on a knife edge. Guiseley having to do a bit of defending though. Good ball forward by Brad Barnes, the captain. Finds Baker to the left-hand side. Tackle comes in from Brooksby, but Wilson loses out. Sumner wins it. Good try from Sumner with the left foot. Saved by Stephen Drench, who gets a firm pair of fists on the ball, punches it away, and it's out for a Fylde throw on the right-hand side.
Yeah, and it moved wickedly in the air, didn't it? A really good shot.
Throw for Fylde again, down this right flank. In fairness, it never looked like it was going to beat Drench, but it was a good drive, and one that he couldn't hold on to.
No, absolutely, and it was the fact that it moved in the air that meant he really could only parry it away from the goal mouth.
1-0 to Fylde, one each on aggregate. Guiseley conceding within 20 seconds of the start of play. A very poor goal to concede. A ball over the top. Richie Allen gambled, ran through, had a simple job of tapping it past Stephen Drench. And Guiseley have been pegged back early on in this game. 18 minutes gone. Free kick for the Lions. Drench will take. Tranmere 1, Bury 0. Bury trying to secure a place in the playoffs. Tranmere, of course, already relegated and will be playing in the Vanarama Conference next season. Clearance from Fylde actually falls kindly for Andy Holdsworth. He plays it to the left-hand side, picked up by Ollie Johnson. Players around him already, but he swerves his way through two or three of them, then drives from distance. It's not a great strike, but brilliant build-up play there from Ollie Johnson.
Yeah, and he was the danger man in the first half on Wednesday as well. And I think Barrow know that when he picks the ball up out there on the left wing, doing it again. I think they know that anyway. When he picks the ball up out there on the left wing, he's going to be coming in onto his right foot to shoot or to float across into the box more often than not. And they're really trying to stop him doing that and trying to send him outside.
Headed away by Danny Hall.
We're going to have to edit that one out as well, aren't we? Unbelievable.
I hear that they might not be too keen on each other, those two clubs.
No.
Fylde picked the ball up, played down to the left-hand side beyond Allen and out for a goal kick.
To be honest, I'm not feeling too fond of either myself right now. So.
Yeah, I've gone right off both of them.
Has to be said, it's like it combines the best bits of being at Frickley and Retford here, doesn't it? It's kind of a little bit more picturesque than Frickley, and the sheep are real. They can actually move around. They're not concrete ones.
It reminds me of Colwyn Bay, actually. You have that mound.
I think you're being kind.
Goal kick taken. We're looking for the positives at the moment. Guiseley pegged back early on. Picked up here by Brooksby. Brooksby cuts infield. Has a run at the defence. 3 or 4 around him. Threads the ball through to Boys. Can't get the return ball. Guys, pick it up though. Second phase, Danny Boschel to the right-hand side. Ryan Toulson. Can they give the visiting fans something to cheer here? Toulson into Rothery. Back here to Boschel. And it's lost its momentum. Fylde have got into shape. The ball takes a flick off Ollie Johnson. It goes out for a throw. I have to say, the referee's got that one wrong. It should have been a fouled throw, but Guiseley get it. Another little rub of the green, perhaps. The ball over the top, in towards Adam Boys. Headed out, and then a rather cheap free kick is given against Adam Boys. So two mistakes make a right, perhaps, in the end, and it's a free kick to Fylde.
Yeah, fair enough. 0-sum in the end. The game has settled down a little bit now, hasn't it? We haven't seen too much goalmouth action in the last few minutes, and obviously that doesn't really benefit either team at the moment with the scores level on aggregate, but it does give everyone a chance to take stock, I suppose.
There's a goal clearance that Allen and Toulson battle for as they bundle over each other. The ball goes out of play. Rain still persistently coming down. Guiseley have a throw in right back position, which they take. Flicked on there by Gavin Rothery. There's a very good crowd here today. There's still probably space for a few hundred more, though. And Guiseley on the ball just inside their own half. Just trying to have a spell of possession and get forward again as they look to regain advantage in this game. Gavin Rothery on the halfway line. Dribbles past one or two and gives it back here to Danny Boschel, who's in the back line for a moment. Up steps Jake Lawler into the feet of Wayne Brooksby. Jake Lawler's been excellent as a centre-half, obviously scored the goal. Made to work actually with that pass from Danny Boschel. And the ball over the top. Jake Lawler has to make sure it goes back to Stephen Drench. And Drench actually fluffed his lines with it. It skies it high in the air. Ryan Toulson steps across, gets it. Jake Lawler has to put a foot through it, but it's picked up again by Brad Barnes. Good tackle from Ryan Toulson into right back, and then he runs forward, looks to get the return ball from Wayne Brooksby, and it's been deflected out for a Guiseley throw.
And that's what we need to see a little bit more of from Guiseley, that challenge from Ryan Toulson, just trying to get to the ball first and not trying to mop up the scraps, but really trying to take the game by the scruff of the neck.
Throw from Toulson, headed back. Danny Boschel and Toulson playing in little space there. They send the ball long for Adam Boys to chase. He's been chasing everything all day. Ollie Johnson chases down the goalkeeper as well. Hinchcliffe as well, too clear. And then Guiseley lose possession because Rowe collects and floats a great ball out to the right-hand side there. Lloyd chasing up against Lowe. Lloyd wins it into the box. Lloyd's got some space. He can't get the shot away. He can now. Straight at down Stephen Drench. But Danny Lloyd there was causing all sorts of problems for Danny Lowe. Dribbled past him twice. Eventually the shot that came in lacked pace and lacked conviction and was straight at the goalkeeper.
No, it was a lovely individual play by Danny Lloyd. We saw a bit of that on Wednesday night, and that time it took two Guiseley players trying to mark him. Neither of them could get the ball off him, stop him getting a shot away.
And he holds it, just penalised for a handball in the halfway line. The ball rather hit his arm more than anything.
No, but the fans asked for it really loudly.
Yeah, and that seems to count at the moment. Guiseley now struggling to get the ball back because it's gone down the right-hand side into the area. Rowe's got a chance to capitalise on a slip from Boschel into the penalty area and eventually helped clear by Ryan Toulson, who's played across the face of the 6-yard box. Picked up again by Lloyd from distance. Drilled down low and hard beyond the upright and behind. Stephen Drench looked nonchalantly at the ball. It didn't look quite so comfortable from where we were sat, though.
It certainly didn't. Well, these are the sort of things that only happen in the playoffs there. Danny Boschel going to ground in the area, landing on top of the ball and it just squirming out, creating another opportunity. These are the sort of things you don't see every Saturday in a normal league game, but the playoffs seem to bring it out, don't they?
Danny Hall on the ball now. Plays it upfield towards Adam Boys. Onto the halfway line, flicked on. And Guiseley will recover possession and deep inside their own half. 25 minutes gone, Fylde 1, Guiseley 0, 1 each on aggregate. The early goal just 20 seconds into this game. A poor one to concede. Richie Allen capitalising on a simple ball over the top. And the fact that he just wasn't tracked, wasn't marked, wasn't followed through. And Guiseley are a goal been pegged back after being a goal up from the first leg to level pegging. Throw into the Lions though, inside the Fylde half on the left-hand side. Low plays it square to Rothery, plays it forward, takes a bounce off the Fylde's man's arm, and in a similar fashion to the Andy Holdsworth decision a couple of minutes earlier, Guiseley get a free kick in a good place.
Yeah, I've not agreed with all of the referees' decisions in the last few minutes. He's a very young set of officials we've got today for quite a big occasion that matters an awful lot to both clubs, and none of these decisions have been decisive and made a big effect on the outcome of the game yet, but this is a good attacking position for Guiseley.
It's out on the left-hand side of the penalty area as we're attacking the goal, about 10 yards up from the angle of the penalty area. It's drilled in here by Holdsworth, just over the top of the bar. Holdsworth claims it took a tip over from the goalkeeper. Referee says no, and it's behind for a goal kick. But it was a well-struck ball from Andy Holdsworth, the captain. Just couldn't keep it underneath the upright, underneath the crossbar. And it's behind for a goal kick.
Yeah, it was a great free kick, very, very close. First real goal threat Guiseley have had, I suppose.
Fylde again, come forward with Allen. He chips it over the top, through to Stephen Drench.
And certainly Drench has been far the busier of the two keepers so far, mostly in sweeping and collecting, but he's had to make a couple of saves.
Another ball forward here from Guiseley down the left-hand side. Ollie Johnson gets from Adam Boyd, cuts in field, 2 or 3 players around him into the penalty area. Ollie Johnson then lays it back here to Danny Boschel. Low, cuts in field, square to Andy Holdsworth. Holdsworth's been pressed well there by Richie Baker. Boschel then floats the ball into the area, flicked up in the air by Danny Lowe. Brooksby can't control, Fylde clear. Back with Danny Boschel though again. Then there's the ball in a bit of a no man's land for a second or two, but Ryan Toulson steps across to take it. Passes it back to Stephen Drench, who's facing a strong wind. And rather than opting for the short pass to Jake Lawler, will try and kick into it. Catches in the air, but it goes good length anyway. Wayne Brooksby can't win that one. Andy Holdsworth and Fylde battle for the ball with Josh Wilson battling with that Andy Holdsworth there. Danny Boschel then collects and plays it forward into the penalty area, but beyond everyone, and Hannigan steps across, clears. Headed only as far as Ryan Toulson. Guiseley win the ball back again. Gavin Rothery down the right-hand side. It's a bit of camber down that side of the pitch, and he's struggling to keep it in play there for a moment. He gets caught, and then Tom Hannigan catches Wayne Brooksby as they played on, and Hannigan's going to be spoken to, and I think Brad Barnes as well.
Well, the first challenge was definitely a foul. The second one, the whistle had definitely gone, was a bit cynical, to be honest. No need for that.
Wayne Brooksby's just been spoken to as well from the referee. Perhaps he's had a word. But, there's a free kick now to Guiseley. It's going to be about 5 yards in from the touchline here on the right-hand side. There's an opportunity for Wayne Brooksby to deliver, and the yellow card goes out to Tom Hannigan. So the centre-half into the book. If I can just ask you to jot that down, Nick, so we can remember it. We're freezing here in this little press area, and we've barely room to swing a cat. And
might have been a better idea for me to bring gloves rather than a cat, though, on retrospect.
Guys with a free kick now. They've got 6 or 7 into that penalty area. Wayne Brooksby floats it in, but it doesn't go to its intended target. Headed away. Guys who get the second phase, though, back here. Wayne Brooksby, chance to deliver again. He does, but again, the cross isn't what he intended. Tie up in the air. Hinchcliffe can claim, and Guiseley have let a promising opportunity rather go to waste there.
Yeah, it's a shame. It marked the end of a good composed passage of play, actually, from Guiseley. They'd been forced back to Drench to restart a couple of times, but they'd played some good possession football during that.
Fylde now coming forward down the left-hand side with Allen, Richie Allen, the club's longest servant, who played in the FA Vars victory a few years ago. He's forced back with that Adam Sumner taking it all the way back to Hinchcliffe, but Hinchcliffe's kick is good, it's long. Lawler wins the aerial battle, much to the displeasure of Baker, and it goes back to Stephen Drench, but Drench's clearance is again struggling with the wind. Josh Wilson wins the ball back. Danny Hall steps across to play it back to Stephen Drench, and then the goalkeeper lays it off to Danny Hall again.
Yeah, the ball, as you say, is stopping in the air, kicking from that end, and the contrast there was Hinchcliffe's clearance, which sailed really well. I guess both teams will have 45 minutes of it that way, though.
Guiseley now having to defend against a long ball over the top. Ryan Tilson has to choose what to do, play it back to the goalkeeper. In the end, he chooses a very cool spin on the ball to take it past Allen and gives it to Danny Boschel, who in turn passes to Gavin Rothery. Wayne Brooksby on the right-hand side now. Goes through, he's tackled by Sumner, and I think there'll be another potential talking to for the full-back on Wayne Brooksby. Brooksby complaining that this is several times he's been fouled in the last few minutes. Referee Ollie Yates goes over and just has a chat with Adam Sumner.
Well, there's been a few there now, and I think the referee's letting him know that he's noticed that. I don't think he's going to do any more. He's done quite well there, actually, really, the referee. He's calmed Sumner down. He's given him a chance to finish his venting, and he's headed off a little bit calmer than he came in.
Oh, disappointingly, actually, Ryan Tilson takes it short and gives it to Ryan Tilson. Wayne Brooksby. Brooksby tries to cross. He's blocked by Sumner. And it's a corner to Guiseley, the first corner of the game for us.
Yeah, it's a rare opportunity to load the box and try and make something happen here.
Lawler into the penalty area along with Danny Hall. Corner taken from Brooksby, floats it up to the back post. It's beyond everyone. Danny Boschel collects deep in midfield in the end. He overhit that one completely, Wayne Brooksby. Now, Andy Holdsworth takes it past one, tries to thread it through to Ollie Johnson, but Fylde win the ball back and then poke it forward up into the Guiseley half, where the only man there is Ryan Tilson. He sends it back into Fylde territory, up towards Adam Boyes. He wins the header, but hasn't anyone to nod down to. And now there's a promising counter-attack on here with a super ball here to Richie Allen, down the left-hand side. Fylde coming to the penalty area, up against Jake Lawler. Great tackle comes in from Jake Lawler. Anticipated the run well, and then took it away from Richie Allen. But Fylde win the second phase back. Gavin Rothery losing possession inside the centre circle. Allen again. A real live wire in this game. Up towards Baker. Headed away by Gavin Rothery after Jake Lawler cleared. Now back here with Adam Sumner. He floats the ball towards the back post. Danny Lowe having a bit of a battle against Lloyd. Danny Rowe takes a shot, clears the stand, almost hits the power lines behind, and it's gone high and wide. But I think that's what happens when the wind, as it is today, takes the flight of the ball.
It certainly is, and going back to that Wayne Brooksby corner, that was an outswinging corner that the wind carried with the way the ball was curling anyway. There's no other explanation for how it ended up 10 yards outside of the penalty area before it landed.
It shows how difficult the conditions are here, Kellenberg Park this afternoon, where Guiseley are trailing by 1-0, 1-1 on aggregate. The goal coming after just 20 seconds. Guiseley growing a little bit more into this game, though. Adam Boyes flicking the ball up into the air, headed on by Gavin Rothery, and then back cleverly by Josh Langley to the goalkeeper. And Hinchcliffe rolls it out to the fullback. Denson plays it up to the halfway line. And then Guiseley win it back here with Danny Lowe. Comes forward down the left-hand side, then slips on the turf. Looks at the sky because he knew he had a promising moment, and then the ball back here with Fylde. Danny Lloyd. Great tackle comes in from Danny Hall. A superb tackle on Danny Lloyd from Danny Hall. And Guiseley come away with it now with Ollie Johnson into the Fylde half. Ollie Johnson, few players ahead of him, only Adam Boyes. Goes down the left-hand side, up against Baker. Johnson opts to go back, gives it to Rothery. Rothery has to do something with it, so he gives it to the left-hand side with Danny Lowe. Lowe crosses into the area. It's a good one. Danny Boschel! Yes! Guiseley are back in front. The header from Danny Boschel, the cross from Danny Lowe, and Guiseley have their noses in front once again.
Well, that was a perfect team goal, wasn't it? Working their way down the left-hand side. Good work from Ollie Johnson. Knew when he'd run into a blind alley. He had 3 players around him. He used the overlapping fullback, a perfect cross into the box. And just like on Wednesday, it was a simple header into the net.
Well, that is just the tonic after the first half, in which Fylde just looked like they were going to, after getting back on level terms so early in this game, go on and press and causes more problems. But the equaliser on the day has come from Danny Boschel. A cross into the box from Danny Lloyd after good work from Ollie Johnson. And then the Lions are back in front. on aggregate. 1-1 now.
And that move started with that excellent challenge by Danny Hall. Like I said about 10 minutes ago, it's just going to take someone to get in there, try and grab something and make something happen, not wait for opportunities to come your way. And Guiseley have woken themselves up after that horrible start. And it shows that they can be a threat, and it shows that they can be dangerous, and right now they are in front on aggregate.
I just wonder if this game's about to explode into some LIFO. Both sides can score, both sides have been known to concede. At the moment, Guiseley have to defend, and they've got to defend a corner, a free kick, deep inside, just inside their own half, but it's sent long towards the edge of the 18-yard box, sent in again by Denson. Denson up towards Langley, who stayed forward. Guiseley though clear, now up here to Brooksby. Brooksby's got to run down this right-hand channel. He's up against Barnes though. Brad Barnes, the captain, holds him up, sends him back, and then Boschel crosses into the area, headed away. Up towards Ryan Tolson. Richie Allen just holds his ground. Looks like he might have had a little nudge in the back, but referee's not interested. And it's going to be a Guiseley throw.
No, there was a definite nudge in the back. Obviously, the referee didn't deem it to be a foul on this occasion. Guiseley restarting just right in front of us. Ryan Tolson, the ball still hasn't come our way yet. Colin, I'm glad for that.
No, we're waiting for it to blast into the stand here.
We haven't called the boys in front into action.
They're a motley crew. I'm not convinced that they will...
I think they will save themselves.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Jake Lawler stabs the ball away onto the halfway line as Fylde look to press this Guiseley goal again. And instead, they are forced back to their own goalkeeper, Hinchcliffe.
I confess my hands are so far up my sleeves, I don't think I would be able to get a pour out to stop a ball coming the way of the laptop.
Wintry conditions here in May. Playoff semi-final, second leg. And now is a good ball in here for Baker to get onto the end of into the penalty area, up against Danny Hall. Guiseley have to defend well. It's a good ball in from Baker, headed behind by Jake Lawler. He had to be alive to that danger because Danny Lloyd was just behind, waiting to pounce. It's a Fylde corner.
That's so important now, the guys who don't get sucker punched again before the break if they can at all avoid it. Everybody back in the box, nobody left forward, only Ollie Johnson just outside of the D. He's the furthest forward yellow-shirted player.
Corner comes in, up towards the back post, it curls in awkwardly. Jake Lawler has to make another important header. Under pressure there, I think it was Tom Hannigan who was pressing.
And what's happening now is this is an in-swinging corner. The wind is actually helping to curl this towards the goal, which is making it so hard to judge.
Lloyd again into the area, helped away by Lowe. Ollie Johnson forced into some defensive duties. It's back into the area. Andy Holdsworth stretches to get a left foot onto it, and it's out for another Fylde throw.
Well, Fylde turning it on like they did on Wednesday when they went a goal behind. This is what we were watching for most of the second half at Nethermore.
1-1. 2-1 to Guiseley on aggregate. 38 minutes gone. Fylde now cross the ball into the box. It's a dipping awkward one there. Actually, it's just gone behind the goal in the end, and it'll be a goal kick. Chance for the wind to get up once again. And
because what we needed was a bit more wind.
The breeze and the rain is certainly not what you'd expect from the first week. Well, it probably is what you'd expect actually for the first week in May in Britain.
Oh no, there's some bright red faces out there though, aren't there? With the wind and the rain, these are horrible conditions.
1-1. Eventually, Stephen Drench gets the ball. Must be full time now, isn't it? 39 minutes. It feels like we've played 90 minutes. Stephen Drench with the free kick, for the goal kick.
That was nearly us, lads.
That
ball was nearly us, and none of them moved.
It bounces out into the just into the hoardings in front of us. Ryan Toulson, as the Guiseley fans get into their singing voices.
Well, no, brilliantly, the Guiseley fans and the Fylde fans are using the exact same chants as each other, and they're stood in the same end of the ground with the way the ground's laid out. The main groups of singing fans are both at the same end, just either side of Stephen Drench's goal. And
there's a standing terrace away to our left. The ball's out of play, by the way. You're not missing anything. There's a standing terrace away to our left, a covered standing terrace, which is essential today, and then a seated stand behind the goal. So where you tend to see the fans congregate to watch their team, behind the goal that they're attacking, there's a seated stand instead. So they have both congregated behind the covered stand behind the goal that Stephen Drench is defending. Ball forward from Fylde, headed away by Danny Lowe as we get back underway. Ollie Johnson takes the ball down inside the centre circle under pressure. He has to give it back to Danny Boschel, the scorer of the equalising goal in the day, and the one that pokes and Guiseley's nose is slightly in front. It's down the left-hand side to Danny Lloyd. Perplexingly, for some reason, the flag is up. I can only assume it was against Danny Lowe, but I can't for the life of me see how he came back from an offside position there, but I can only assume he's got that right because it's unusual and there's no real objections on the field.
No massive protest. It'd be interesting to see actually in the second half whether because the Guiseley fans are already exactly where they want to be after half time. It'd be interesting to see whether any of the Fylde lot fancied braving the weather at the other end.
Flicked on there from a long ball forward by Jake Lawler, and that's conceded a corner. These corners are so dangerous as well, as Fylde can whip the ball in. It'll curl in with the wind as well. And Stephen Drench will be under pressure again with Josh Wilson stepping across to stand on him. Lloyd comes short to give Baker the option of the short corner, but Baker decides to curl this one in. It's a good one, headed away again. Brooksby keeps it from going behind for another corner, but only at the expense of giving it back to Denson. Denson heads it on, and there's an offside flag up. And Guiseley get a free kick as Baker brought himself back into play from an offside position. Guiseley can breathe a sigh of relief and clear the ball from inside their own penalty area.
Well, this is, I guess, how Guiseley would have wanted the minutes after the goal to have gone. Just about managed to repel Fylde's attempts to quickly get themselves back on terms on aggregate.
Stephen Drench launches it forward. It's beyond Wayne Brooksby and out for a Fylde throw-in left-back position up towards Allen. Toulson battles. High foot, surely, from Richie Baker. But it's not really contested and it's out for a Guiseley throw nonetheless. But it was like a kung fu kick, wasn't it, the way he tackled that ball? It was great athleticism from him. Great amount of acrobatics from him.
I'm surprised the referee didn't want a word with him at least,
yeah.
Even just to say, just be careful, that could have been a foul.
Tilson tries to clear the ball on the halfway line. It's up in the air, bounces up here awkwardly and dangerously from our point of view on the halfway line right in front of us. Fylde win the ball. Good tackle comes in from Rothery, but still Sumner goes. Good footwork from Sumner. Plays it out to Allen on the left-hand side. Jake Lawler steps across to hold up the run, but Allen still has the ball. Curls it in. A really dangerous ball. Stephen Drench punches. Ollie Johnson jets enough of a header to keep it away from Josh Wilson, and then Jake Lawler completes the clearance, but a little bit stretched there, the Lions' defence.
No, it was great work by Sumner, the left back, getting forward. Left Ryan Toulson for dead.
Guys again having to defend because they've got the bit between the teeth for a moment here, Fylde, and then there's a clumsy tackle from Wayne Brooksby. Wayne Brooksby and Richie Allen are squaring up to each other. Referee Ollie Yates is going to speak to Wayne Brooksby. That can't be a card, that must be a talking to, I'd imagine.
Well, I think it's the same conversation as was had earlier on with the Fylde player. It's the you've been getting a little bit too involved. Wayne Brooksby's been chatting away to the referee for quite a lot of this first half, as we've seen challenges going in down this side. And he obviously isn't happy with the referee. Neither are the Fylde players out on the left here, and ultimately they just need to calm down and do their jobs.
Fylde free kicks, curls in up towards the back post. It's caught Stephen Drench awkwardly, but Stephen Drench couldn't follow the flight of the ball in the first instance. It caught the wind, it changed angle wickedly in the air, but Stephen Drench managed to keep enough of an eye on the ball to claim it inside the 6-yard box, and comfortably Guiseley can clear the ball upfield again with a little bit of a sigh of relief. Still 1-1. Still Guiseley lead 2-1 on aggregate.
That was a real heart-in-mouth moment there. I mean, in the end, Stephen Drench has taken it with two hands above his head, almost unchallenged. You'd think it was a routine catch.
Boston 1, Chorley 0 in the playoffs, other game. So Boston leading that one on 1-0 on aggregate. It was 0-0 in the first leg. Guiseley winning the ball on the left-hand side, and then Gavin Rothery is taken down. Free kick given to Guiseley. Curzon Ashton also leading Ilkeston as well, 1-0, or Ilson as you describe them, 1-0 in the playoff final. The Evo Stick division that decides who comes through to this final. And we've got 2 minutes to add on, and guys have a free kick in a dangerous position.
Well, it's absolutely crucial for Fylde that they don't concede another goal before half-time. Obviously, it's just as important for Guiseley that they hold on to the momentum that they gained by scoring the equaliser.
Ball comes in straight. Poor free kick from Wayne Brooksby. Straight into the first man. That is just really disappointing from Guiseley's perspective because it goes all the way back to Stephen Drench. Just when the ball was in a good, dangerous position for the Lions. In the end, it's all the way back here with Stephen Drench, who sends it up long. Headed away by Sumner. Knocked on by Danny Boschel. Picked up by Ollie Johnson. Johnson, he's up against Sumner on the edge of the area. Johnson gets into the area. Can he get the cross? He can, but it's blocked well by the Fylde defence. And then Allen will complete the clearance with help from Josh Wilson, who sends it long, looking for Rowe. And Danny Hall and Jake Lawler onto the ball to make sure they can shepherd it back to Stephen Drench, but Drench's clearances aren't long enough. Brad Barnes heads it back into the Guiseley territory, and then a header back to Stephen Drench. Lloyd wasn't going to give that one up, but Stephen Drench was always going to be ahead of the Fylde man.
Well, I think we might be in for something special in the second half here, Colin. It's so finely balanced. These teams are really evenly matched.
Not sure my ticker can take it, to be honest.
No, mine neither. Someone else will have to commentate if it goes that way, but it could be. It could be exciting.
Wayne Brooksby. It's exciting enough as it is, thank you very much. Brooksby onto the edge of the 18-yard box, gives it to Adam Boys, into Gavin Rothery. Rothery forced back, Fylde defending very well and in good shape there. Danny Boschel down to Wayne Brooksby. He tries to flick it through to Danny Lowe on the overlap. Claims for a handball, but into the chest of the Fylde man. As he head away, flicked on by Gavin Rothery into Ollie Johnson. Ollie Johnson, again, going behind him. Back here to Ryan Tilson. And that's it, half-time. Well, feels like we've played the 90 minutes already. Guiseley conceded after 20 seconds. After Richie Allen was the only man to anticipate the ball over the top. Guiseley stood static. Allen just ran through and tapped the ball home. And then Danny Boschel equalised for the Lions into that first half with a header after a great cross from Danny Lowe. Half-time here. It is A.F.C. Fylde 1, Guiseley 1, and that means it's 2-1 to the Lions on aggregate as it stands. That at half-time, hand you over to Tom and to Dave to keep you entertained for the next 15 minutes.
Well, we'll try our best, Colin. So, it is 2-1 on aggregate at half-time, 1-1 on the game, and well, Dave, just first of all, how are you feeling? Because not the best start for Guiseley, it has to be said. Maybe that's a little bit of an understatement. 20 seconds in, and they scored. Just what did you make of that?
I swear to you, Tom, they do it to me deliberately. They're putting us through the mill, aren't they? Again. Yet again. We're doing it the difficult way. If there's a difficult way of doing it, we will try and do it. My goodness, what a start. What a start! I mean, we said before at the beginning of the game about the conditions, and the conditions would play a part in today's game. And the wind's been squalling around the ground. The rain is coming down. Still now, it's heavy rain. And we also said about the importance of a good, solid start. It's not quite what Guiseley have done, is it?
Well,
they just stood still. They were still on the bus, I think. At the start of that game, and basically everything that we said that they had to be aware of, they were not aware of, and such a soft goal to concede. They'll be annoyed. Jake Lawler and Danny Hall will be furious with themselves. But to their credit, Guiseley settled eventually. That first 10 minutes was a little bit hairy, but they settled, they got back into the game, they've started moving the ball about a bit better, and they got the goal from the first decent ball into the box, I think, of the entire half. A really good ball, and of all people from our centre half, and Danny Boschel just threw himself at it to head home. So it swings and roundabouts, isn't it? There's positives and negatives to take from that as well. But they've settled, they've got themselves back into the game, and they've got to take heart from that.
Just looking at that goal they conceded, do you feel that if there was a positive, it was that ever since that happened, the whole defence now look fully aware and really alert to the chances that Fylde may be creating? Because whenever a ball has been put in, the likes of Jake Lawler seem to be the first to it now every time.
Yeah, I think they've been fool me once, shame on me sort of situation. They've been caught completely cold by that ball into the box early doors, and the way that Stephen Drench has been kicking in the first half as well, it's really been hanging in the air. It's really been getting caught in the wind a lot. So they are now watching everything like a hawk, watching it all the way. They are very wary of making any kind of mistake now, the same way. But again, it's not going to stop. The wind's not going to stop. The rain's not going to stop. You've got to keep that concentration all the way through. Again, we spoke before the game about the importance of not switching off even for a second. They switched off for a second, conceded a goal. It could happen again. And Guiseley have got another uphill battle to go. So we'll see in that second half. They've got to come out and be positive in that second half, be strong and be organised.
Oh yeah, they definitely do. Just looking at the goal that Guiseley scored, a real moment of quality by Danny Lowe, a fantastic ball, and it really just split the defence in two. And Danny Boschel, free header, he did what he had to do, getting it past the keeper. But you can argue that was a real moment of quality by Lowe.
Yeah, and it came at the end of sort of a period of 5-10 minutes where Guiseley were moving the ball around a lot better, a lot more composure in their passing, and the first touch of some of the players had improved. First 20 minutes, I thought Holdsworth and Boschel's first touch wasn't great. They weren't really imposing themselves on the game, but they've grown into it. And same with Jake Lawler as well. He had a slow start, the slowest of starts, but they've all grown into the game, and actually, they've done very well to get themselves back into it. I think, if there's criticism to be had of Guiseley at the moment, I think Adam Boyes, same as Wednesday, he's very isolated up front. He's not quite getting the support from that he needs because of the way Fylde play. They push quite hard down the wings, and it pushes Brooksby and it pushes Ollie Johnson a little bit further back to help out in defence. So they need to find a way of getting Adam Boyes back into this game. The long ball forward isn't working because of the wind, because the ball could, it could land straight at his feet, but also it could go flying over the bar, which was what we saw from one of the Fylde chances. That one was hit from outside the box, went so high, nearly hit the power lines.
Just looking at this game as well, there have been a couple of moments where handbags have been used and, one or two yellow cards thrown in as well. And it really just shows you how important this game is, that every player seems so pumped up for it.
Yeah, I think that's just indicative of the occasion, really. There's been a couple of full-blooded challenges from behind. Wayne Brooksby and the Fylde number 11 had a bit of a set to at some point, but it's not really spilled up into anything ugly yet. Maybe as the game goes on, tensions rise, a couple of those challenges start going in, and something does happen. I think the important thing is in that situation is the guys that keep their head, keep their cool. Let's not pick up any silly bookings. Let's definitely not get any red cards, because then you're making an already difficult job almost impossible.
Because it is easy to forget that at half-time, if the scores remain the same, Guiseley are actually going to go through. And I know it feels very tense and Guiseley look very tense, but the point has to be made, if this ends 1-1, Guiseley are going through 2-1, so they don't have to make these silly tackles because they're in a winning position.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. There's absolutely no reason to make those kind of ridiculous challenges, but Fylde are going to come out and they're going to put pressure on us. We're going to have our backs to the wall, I think, for a great deal of this second half, because Fylde are a strong attacking side. They'll come at us, and we might be pinned in the area a couple of times already in this game. There's been balls come through. Sorry, I just dropped a flask. There's been balls come through and it's pinged about in the box, and it's only just been cleared. I think we've pushed our luck a couple of times. The same thing happened on Wednesday, but for the octopus-like legs of Stephen Drench, Fylde might have got an equaliser that night. But so it's something, again, it all comes back to staying concentrated, staying organised, imposing yourself on the game, and just keeping tight, not letting Fylde in.
And just one player that I wanted to pick out, and the reason I'm picking him out is for obvious reasons. He's played for Guiseley during 2 spells. He's at A.F.C. Fylde now, and that's Josh Wilson. Now, I don't know about you, but I really didn't notice him during that first half.
No, he's not had the best of halves. I think, again, that's kind of... all right, I'm a bit biased. I think that's because Guiseley have grown into the game and kept him quiet, to be honest. I think the more that the more that Danny Hall and Jake Lawler have grown into the game, the less Josh Wilson's been able to do. And I think towards the end of that first half, there was an awful lot of high balls into the box from Fylde that they almost resorted to just trying to hump it into the box to try and cause a problem. I mean, there's a logic to that because it has caused a problem. In this kind of wind, in this kind of conditions, with this kind of slippery ball, there's been a couple of balls into the box. Stephen Jones has had to come out and either punch or claim for his own. And he has so far, but if Fylde keep gambling like that, eventually something's going to slip out of his hands. Eventually, Jake Lawler's going to misread the ball, and they'll let Fylde in. The opposite of that, of course, is that Guiseley keep pumping the ball through to Adam Boyes for the same reason. Eventually, you keep doing that, and enough times something might run your way. And Ollie Johnson, although he's not really imposed himself a great deal on this game, looks bright. There's a couple of times where he's been surrounded by 2 or 3 defenders. I think Fylde are marking him quite tightly because they know what a threat he can be. But he skipped past 2 or 3 defenders and had a shot which he just pulled wide. But that's indicative of how much he wants to get into this game and he wants to score a goal.
I think talking about nerves and talking about Adam Boyes, there was an incident where the ball was launched forward and the 2 centre-backs actually got into each other's way. Adam Boyes a bit unlucky there not to get onto the end of that ball. In the end, the keeper, Hinchcliffe, just able to clear it. But it does show you that tactic, although 9 times it might not work, on that 10th occasion, if it does, it could really be fruitful for Guiseley.
Yeah, I think and the game could turn into that kind of, we'll pump it forward to our big striker and you pump it forward to yours and we'll see what happens. I hope it doesn't, because I think that makes for a very dull game. I think these are 2 good footballing playing sides who are just struggling to completely impose themselves on the other side because they're both playing very well. I think it's a really entertaining game. It's very finely poised. Fylde are not out of this, not by a long way. And, another slow start to the second half by Guiseley and they're right back in the game. The important thing for Guiseley to do in that second half then is to come out, and it's a cliche, but it's a cliche because it's true, is to come out, stay tight for the first 15-20 minutes, don't make any silly mistakes, don't let Fylde in, defend your corners well, attack the ball and keep them at bay.
Well, talking about tight games, there's another tight game, and it is the semi-final between Boston United and Chorley. It's 1-0 to Boston at the moment at half-time. So if Guiseley do go through, it's a trip to Boston next week. Now, whatever happens, whether it's A.F.C. Fylde who get to the final, or whether it is Guiseley, or whether it's Boston, whether it's Chorley, really whoever it is, it's going to be a tight game, whatever. But Guiseley v Boston, there's plenty of history there, isn't there?
Yeah, there's plenty of history, and you think about that last visit to Boston. Or do you want to think about that last visit to Boston?
I try to forget about it.
I don't really want to remember that. It won't be that. It won't be that again. It won't be. Touch wood. It won't be another hammering. But that'll be a tough game. I mean, it'll be a tough game if Chorley come back and score and win. It'll be a tough game in Chorley, as we found out both times in the league. We just fell short against Chorley. We've just fallen short against Boston. But equally, we've beaten them both at home. It really is as broad as it's long, whoever we're playing.
And just at half-time, if you were Mark Bauer, what would you be saying to the lads? Basically, to keep playing the way they are, or would you want them to maybe sit back a little bit more, or would you want them to push a bit more, to put a bit of pressure? I mean, which way would you go? Because I wouldn't know what I'd be saying at the moment, if I'm honest, because it just seems to be one of them games where the tactics are going to be the winner, maybe not the players, because of how the conditions are. They could really play a big part in this game.
Yeah, it's a difficult one for Bauer because, you push forward and, yeah, sure, you could score 2 or 3 goals. Equally, you could get caught on the break and lose the game. I've said this all along. I think they'll probably keep to the same tactic. At the moment, with the exception of that ridiculous first 20 seconds, it's working. It's working. It's keeping them at bay. But the difficulty with playing that way is, of course, you have to stay completely concentrated, completely on your game for the entirety of 90 minutes, which is not an easy thing to do. There's no way of... I don't think there's any point, any way that Guiseley are going to overpower Fylde today. We're not coming out of this winning 5-1. That's not going to happen. But we are good enough to beat them. We have created chances. We can create chances. Andy Holsworth had a free kick that just flew over the bar. You know, we've caused a couple of problems going down the wing. We've caused a couple of problems with Wayne Brooksby causing a couple of problems. Ollie Johnson causes them problems. The ball into the box has proven to cause them problems. You know, you get down the wing, you cut it back, and they can't. We've got the height in there to really create chances and give ourselves a chance. I don't see any real need to change a great deal at the moment.
And it's not a bad position to be in, is it? 3/4 of the way through these two legs, and Guiseley at the moment are ahead, so they've got to just take positives. I know we're all nervous, but hopefully them players can just take them positives, because really they've played 135 minutes, and apart from them 20 seconds, you can't really flaw any of it.
Yeah, I think for the large part of this game, they're doing the right things. You know, they're keeping the ball and they're getting forward when they can, and there's no point going for broke, because, as I say, we don't need to win this game 5-1. You know, it's pointless. You know, throwing people forward and trying to score 3 or 4 goals. That would be lovely. That would be great if they come out, score 3 or 4 goals in the first 15 minutes. We can all relax a little bit. It's not going to happen, though, is it? Come on.
And just looking at the bench, it's the same one as Wednesday. Liam Dickinson came on during that game on Wednesday. Do you think he'll be the most likely to come on if substitutes are going to be made?
Well, if you're going to play that long ball into the box, if you're just going to ping it as hard as you can against a massive player in the box, yeah, why not? Why not put Liam Dickinson in? Why not hammer the ball as hard as you can against Liam Dickinson and hope something falls for you?
Well, the players are now making their way back onto the pitch, so I'm going to pass you back to Nick Keefe, but first of all, Colin Robertson.
Well, thank you, Tom. Thank you, Dave. And the two sides, well, actually one side is out at the moment, that is Fylde. We're still waiting for Guiseley to make their way back down from the half-time cups of tea, and of the two sides at the moment, I'm sure Mark Bauer's men are the happier, although neither will count their chickens for anything in this game at the moment, with it finely poised 1-1 on the day. Fylde scoring after just 20 seconds. The equaliser from Danny Boschel, great header. A leveller before the break that meant that the Lions take a 2-1 advantage on aggregate. But Fylde are out early here, and I'm pretty sure that they certainly look pumped up and ready for this second half. I'm pretty sure they'll be trying to make a statement of some sort by coming out so early.
Yeah, well, it's given us a bit of a gap and an opportunity to take stock of where we're at. Of course, all they need to do is not concede again in this game, and that would be enough to see them home. But of course, they can't come out and play like that, can they? They can't come out and try and see this out for 45 minutes. That's far too risky, not least because if they concede again, they risk having lost the advantage twice. And I think at that point we might see some heads drop. So Guiseley know they have a big task on. They haven't got the excuse of the wind that we were giving them in the first half, so they need to be getting some of these balls into channels more accurate. They need to be getting more distance on their clearances to relieve pressure at the back, and they need to be closing down, and they need to be working really hard all over the pitch if they want to try and see this one home.
Well, Nicky Boschel and Danny Boschel just coming out of the tunnel. Nicky Boschel making some sort of exaggerated header motion to brother Danny, and I'm sure he's having a bit of a laugh about the fact he actually scored with his head there.
Well, a Boschel goal in itself is almost a collector's item, isn't it? But a Danny Boschel header. It's playoff season and anything can happen.
Second half about to get underway. The Lions in yellow shooting from right to left now in the second half as we sit in the stand. Referee Ollie Yates just about to blow the whistle. The wind in our favour perhaps that we saw in the first half, although feels a little bit like it might have died somewhat. Immediately the ball played forward from Danny Boschel. A rugby style pass, hitting touch.
That's right, Colin. Let's
get
our excuses in early on that. The wind only lasted 45 minutes.
Fylde with a throw in their own right back position, headed on by Ollie Johnson, picked up here by Adam Boys, blocked by Fylde, and they get it away with Josh Wilson battling for it. Then it's back here to Boys. He opts to go back to Danny Hall, the right decision, who in turn sends it all the way back to Stephen Drench. Rowe chases it. Drench hits that one, hits it long. Too long for the frontman, and it's back with the goalkeeper, Ben Hinchcliffe.
Yeah, well, he's got to, Stephen has got to get his range dialed in again with his first few goal kicks and clearances in the second half. It is going to behave differently to in the first.
Ollie Johnson just going in to win the ball on the halfway line, takes it away from Denson, but Denson intelligently moves out of the way to allow the ball to go out into touch. The clearance from Danny Lowe finds Gavin Rothery. Rothery into the feet of Wayne Brooksby. Brooksby lays it back here to Danny Lowe. Lowe looks ahead of him, plays it forward up towards Adam Boys. Boys battles for it. The header is won by Josh Langley. Guys, he have the throw. 1-1. 46 minutes gone. So just in the early stages of this second half. Guys on the attack here. Danny Lowe into the feet of Ollie Johnson. Ollie Johnson cuts in field, plays it square here to Gavin Rothery. Twist on the ball from Rothery, shot from the left foot. That is always going wide, and it's behind for a goal kick.
No, but a promising start to the second half. Good possession from Guiseley in the attacking half. And a good vocal sound from the Guiseley fans down behind that goal. And a few of the Fylde, a good number in fact of the Fylde fans have braved the elements. They're now down at the end behind Stephen Drench's goal.
Long ball forward there at Guiseley a little bit at 6s and 7s with Josh Wilson lurking, Danny Hall and Jake Lawler to be called into action. It's out now for a Fylde throw as they look to press early on in the second half. Denson with the throw on the right hand side. It goes short. He gets the ball back, ready to cross. Back here now with Baker. Baker up against Andy Holdsworth. And then knocks the ball out of play. And it's a throw in for Guiseley in left back position. Just to remind you, do feel free to tweet us. We're at Guiseley Radio on Twitter. And that's the best way, the only way actually we can interact with you. So if you've got any comments about us or the game, do let us know. Keep them clean. We might even read them out. It's a Guiseley defensive motion though at the moment because Fylde are pressing, and in the end there's a crunching challenge between Gavin Rothery and Brad Barnes, and I think Barnes has just come away with some form of a knock from that. It was Barnes himself who made the challenge. He certainly felt that, didn't he?
Yeah, he did, and it's happened just off the pitch, which means he's off of the sideline at the moment and the game can carry on.
Guys who take the throw, as we just hear that Boston United have gone 2-0 up in that playoff semi-final against Chorley. And now there's a chance here for Fylde. The ball played over the top there by Josh Wilson, almost getting Richie Allen in. Good interception there from Jake Lawler. Guiseley, though, don't clear their lines well, and away come Fylde again until a super tackle comes in from Adam Boys. Boys gives it to Ollie Johnson. Johnson skips past one, plays it to Danny Lowe on the left-hand side. He's got 3 to aim for. If he can get the cross, he has to go back to Andy Holdsworth. Holdsworth gives the ball in towards the back post. It's beyond everyone. Ollie Johnson's frustrated because he wanted the ball played short. In the end, Fylde can come away with the ball, while Brad Barnes down here is still looking to be in a little bit of pain and having a bit of a problem here.
Yeah, I think it's his right ankle, or the lower half of his right calf that he's looking at. Everything hurts. Everything hurts more when it's cold like this, doesn't it? And he's in a lot of pain at the moment still.
Fylde on the ball, playing with 10, but still coming forward. They've just got a man temporarily off the field, just receiving some magic spray. Richie Allen playing the ball down that left-hand side. It's cut out this time by Wayne Brooksby, and now he finds Gavin Rothery, who starts a run over the halfway line. Plays it square here to Danny Boschel. Boschel held up by Baker. Boschel can't find a pass through, so he goes back, and Barnes limps back onto field to try and run off the knock that he sustained actually whilst making a good firm challenge on Gavin Rothery. Ollie Johnson closing down Denson, the fullback, almost caught, and Johnson almost caught Baker. And it's back here with Denson. Ollie Johnson running his socks off there up front, trying to get the ball back in the danger area. for Rowe. Robs Danny Hall, who dawdled on the ball after initially robbing Danny Rowe initially in the defensive move. But now, can't get my words out here. Guiseley win the ball in the halfway line. Wayne Brooksby. He's held up by Baker. Out to the right-hand side. Ryan Toulson. Brooksby's gone down for a moment. Keep an eye on that. The ball's still moving here with Gavin Rothery. Brooksby's back on his feet. Limping a little. Andy Holdsworth on the halfway line. Guys, he's slowing things down at the moment. Danny Lowe to Holdsworth. Can't hold on to the ball for another 40 minutes, so we do have to show some attacking intent. But just now, guys, he's just wanting to calm things down a little. Slow the pace. Jake Lawler down the right-hand side towards Boys. The ball seemed to whip up pace as it hit the ground and span off for a goal kick.
Oh, there was definitely contact between Baker and Brooksby. Baker just sort of trapping Brooksby's ankle a little bit. Referee was right there, didn't think it was a foul, and that's fine, but we'll just wait and see whether Wayne's happy to run that off or whether he's going to need a little bit more help.
Just turning you up, Nick. Unless you think you're too quiet.
You're right. I'd already turned me down, but it's okay.
Oh, all right, you're the boss. Ball goes down this flank. Danny Lowe. I'm Mutt and Jeff. I can't hear a thing, so I always have everything on 11.
Pardon?
I have. There's not much happening actually. The ball's up bouncing around in midfield, and eventually there's a high foot, and that concedes possession. And it's a Guiseley free kick inside the centre circle, just inside their own half. 51 minutes gone, and it's 1-1. Boston leading 2-0 in the other playoff semi-final. We were hearing that Curzon Ashton were leading in the playoff final for the Evo Stick Northern Premier League. Danny Hall with a free kick up towards Ollie Johnson, headed away by Langley into the Guiseley half. Danny Hall has to keep the ball away. Danny Lowe is managed to keep the ball in play. And then Adam Boyes chases down Josh Langley. Josh Langley does well, controls the ball, turns and gives it to Hannigan. The former Vauxhall Motors man steps forward over the halfway line. Hannigan looking for options ahead of him. Into the feet of Baker. And Hannigan again in possession, plays it to Sumner. Sumner up towards Josh Wilson. Josh Wilson is tackled. And Jake Lawler gets the ball away. Josh Wilson was playing for Guiseley earlier on this season when he joined us on loan. A little spell when we really looked the business, I thought, when he came to the club. Him and Adam Boyes seemed to be forming a real connection between each other, a real understanding. At the moment, Guiseley have just conceded the throw on the halfway line, thrown to Fylde.
And in some ways, it's been a slightly strange season of different phases. It doesn't seem like we've been able to string any sort of form together, any run of results for any length of time. We've seen a few players come and go, although obviously the core of the squad is the same as it's been for a few seasons now. But it felt like a little bit of a disjointed campaign. It seems like years ago that Josh Wilson was back on loan at Nethermore from Halifax, and to see him playing here as a permanent signing, playing in midfield, like I said on Wednesday, it just reminds you what a lot of changes we have seen.
The ball's played down the right-hand side. Gavin Rothery chases it, and that forces Ben Hinchcliffe into launching the ball into the stands, terraces. And Guiseley will get a throw-in. Nick's sound engineering is far superior to mine. And he's just turning me down there.
No, I was admitting defeat and turning me up. It's fine.
Guiseley actually win a throw now down the right-hand flank, about level with the edge of the 6-yard box. The game not quite as frenetic as in that first period. The Lions perhaps doing well to take that freneticism out of it. I don't know if that's quite English, but they take this throw anyway on this right-hand side. And again, no pace, no urgency about it. Gavin Rothery on the ball, square now to Ollie Johnson. On the edge of the penalty area, Ollie Johnson up against 3 players. Onto the right-hand side, tries to get the cross in, takes a deflection off the defender. Guiseley win the corner. Good work, Ollie Johnson.
Yeah, and you're right. At this point in the game, you'd struggle to name a player on the pitch who isn't actually having a pretty good afternoon. But Guiseley have done a better job since half-time of controlling the possession and controlling the ball. And it's Fylde who are struggling to get away from their defensive third, a bit like we were at this stage of the first half.
Corner to Guiseley on the right-hand side. Time now for the big men to come forward. Jake Lawler into the box. He leaps up with the goalkeeper. The goalkeeper tips that one round because this was curling in from Wayne Brooksby. It's gone behind. It's clearly a corner, but the referee has given a goal kick. Absolutely ridiculous. He's got that completely wrong there. And a goal kick has been awarded. So unless it went out before the goalkeeper touched it, perhaps it curled back in. But it looks on the surface like he's got that one wrong. Goal kick has been taken. It's into Guiseley territory. Helped away by Andy Holder. Picked up by Adam Boyes. Up against Langley. Boyes does well. Holds the ball up. Gives it to Ollie Johnson. Ollie Johnson running infield now. He's got Gavin Rothery with him. Ollie Johnson keeps running. Threads the ball through. Shot comes in for Andy Holder! A super strike from the edge of the area. Andy Holder has scored a superb goal, and Guiseley have gone 2 goals to 1 up on the day and 3 goals to 1 up on aggregate.
An absolutely perfect team goal. Adam Boyes winning the ball up front, holding it up, bringing Ollie Johnson into play. The Guiseley left-sided player today, skipping in midfield, finding the perfect pass through, and Holsworth drilled it home into the corner of the net. Might that be enough now, Colin?
I'm not sure I quite believe us. 2 goals to 1 up. 3 goals to 1 on aggregate. I still think there's a lot more in this game yet to come. But Andy Holdsworth, the captain, with a superb strike. And it came from great work with Adam Boyes and Ollie Johnson working down this left-hand side so well. Ollie Johnson picking out the perfect pass for Andy Holdsworth. And what a strike from the captain. And what a time to pop up with the goal.
Well, you talk about collector's items, a Danny Boschel header and any Andy Holdsworth goal, let alone one drilled from outside the edge of the area. They all come out for the playoffs, don't they?
Well, there's going to be a substitute, and it's going to be farewell to Josh Wilson, and Matt Blinkhorn will come on as Josh Wilson will make way for a more attacking-minded player, perhaps. As I say, attacking-minded player. A different option now for Fylde. They need 2 more goals to get back onto parity. We've got half an hour to go. Guiseley lead 2-1 on the day, 3-1 on aggregate. Plenty more to go in this game. Danny Rowe now looks to muster an immediate response for Fylde. Wins his side a corner. They're coming forward now with purpose as they need to get 2 goals back in this game. With it now, a ball being waited for. As we're just hearing that Boston United have now been pegged back by 1 goal. So it's now Boston 2, Chorley 1. That's 2-1 on aggregate. Guiseley leading 3-1 on aggregate at the moment. But Fylde, they can score goals, and they've got a corner on the right-hand side. The corner will be whipped in towards the back post. There's 2 men underneath it. It's headed towards a goal. It hits off the substitute Blinkhorn inside the 6-yard box. Bounces off, and eventually Guiseley clear behind for another Fylde corner. 6s and 7s in that box, Guiseley, at that moment.
Well, there were players going to ground and all sorts, but Blinkhorn has effectively cleared that from about 3 or 4 yards off of the line inadvertently.
Corner comes in again, this time headed away magnificently by Danny Hall. Ollie Johnson, the most advanced Guiseley player. Adam Boyes now joins in, but still Fylde win possession back with Sumner. They're camping into Guiseley half now as they look to get back into this game. Lloyd on the left-hand side, up against Brooksby. Brooksby sticks to his task. Lloyd eventually loses possession, but wins the corner.
Come on, Fylde!
Home fans feeling the tension, urging the side on. Guiseley leading, but having to defend deep now. The corner comes into the penalty area. It's a good header. It's inside the 6-yard box. Nobody gets on the end of it, and eventually it's helped away up over the halfway line. Ollie Johnson keeps the chase up down the right-hand side. He nods the ball on, makes Sumner chase it, and in the end Sumner can clear and does clear well, but Guiseley have lived on their nerves and lived on the lives of a couple of Black Caps in there for a moment or two. Meanwhile, there is a player down in the penalty area. I didn't see that, actually. There's a player down in the area, Josh Langley, who's... nobody quite see what happened. It must have been in the corner in the build-up. The referee didn't notice it, and they've stopped. But he's prostrate in the 6-yard box just at the moment and receiving some attention. Maybe he's just taken a knock against the post or something. He's right next to the upright there. I didn't see anything there.
No, I think the only people in the ground who would have seen that will be the fans behind the goal, because obviously the play was away from the area. We didn't see anyone go down. Obviously, when there was all that goalmouth action, but it will presumably have been something in all that melee.
It's never good to see, and he's just been looked at the head, and we just wish him well. Nobody wants to see anyone get injured. And Josh Langley, who's impressive presence at the back for Fylde. He and Tom Hannigan, I think, have a good partnership. Langley, thankfully, is up, and hopefully we'll be able to resume action.
Just interesting watching what's happening now with these dead moments. All of the Guiseley players, back from Danny Lowe at the moment, have gone over for water and a bit of a conference with Mark Bauer and Martin Stringfellow over there. They're all taking on liquid, having a chat with each other. Meanwhile, Fylde have sort of split themselves into two groups, the defence and goalkeeper having a chat, and all the other players further forward having a bit of a conflab. Everybody out there on the pitch at the moment trying to work out how on earth they get through the next 30 minutes the way they want to. For Guiseley, obviously, it's a case of keeping the ship steady. And Fylde, they need to get back into this as soon as they possibly can. I'll still be watching Brad Barnes, the captain. Since he's come back on, he's still limping, you know. He's not moving happily. He's trying to play through it. You can see he wants to go and play, but he's not moving steadily when he has to sprint. But he's a vocal presence out there, and I think they'd want him to be playing if he can.
Well, it's like 4 up front at the moment, with Fylde pressing men forward, and happily Langley is back on the field of play. The ball down the right-hand side from Brooksby, looking for Adam Boyes. It's beyond him into the keeper, who is out of his area in left-back position, plays it forward. Now Ollie Johnson takes possession of the ball inside the Fylde half. He's unable to keep hold of it because he's under tremendous pressure from the Fylde defence. Guiseley in the end can't keep the ball in play, and it's a Fylde throw in left-back position. 2-1 to Guiseley on the day. 3-1 in aggregate. Turning around an early goal conceded after just 20 seconds. But goals from Danny Boschel and Andy Holdsworth. Two players you wouldn't have put money on scoring 2 goals for us today, but who have picked out 2 excellent goals. A header from Danny Boschel and an absolute perler of a strike from Andy Holdsworth in the second half. 62 minutes played, so plenty to go. And the tension is, you can cut through it, couldn't you? Cut through it with a knife, as they say.
I think one of the reasons it's easy to cut through is they're all frozen solid. I've run out of words.
I know. Pitch in here, Nick, will you, occasionally?
Yeah, sorry.
Guys,
I realised the time was passing and I wasn't really saying anything.
Sumner now over the halfway line for Fylde. Good tackle comes in from Brooksby. Wins the ball back, gives it to Rothery. Rothery's got 2 either side of him in Ollie Johnson and Boschel. Gives it to Ollie Johnson. Ollie Johnson on the edge of the D. 3 around him. Can't carve out any space. Keeps going though on the ball. Plays it to the right hand side where Wayne Brooksby collects right by the touchline. Ready to cross. Doesn't have any purpose in the run, but it does deliver a ball into the box. Too close to the goalkeeper, and Hinchcliffe can throw this one out. Fylde play up towards Rowe. Danny Hall caught by Blinkhorn. Blinkhorn picks the ball up, plays it to the right-hand side. Allen, the scorer of the goal for Fylde, dribbles in field, looks for an option. He's got one on the outside, and Denson crosses into the edge of the area, helped away by Gavin Rothery. Guiseley now will expect the Fylde onslaught in this last 25 minutes.
Yeah, and this is where they've really got to avoid, if they can, dropping so deep as in the second half at Nethermore in the week. At times we saw in the second half, guys, this back four just lining up on the edge of the 18-yard box and taking that as their marker. I don't know if they can afford to drop so deep today.
And they're still dropping quite deep at the moment, aren't we? Just ahead of the 18-yard box is the back line as they play the ball from the edge of the halfway line. Danny Lowe with a little lapse of a touch there. He needed to get rid of that, and he didn't. And it's little moments like that, because he's forced to knock the ball into touch, that gives Fylde a throw-in on the right-hand side. Denson into the substitute Blinkhorn, who shows good feet Good feet to get past Ollie Johnson. Ball into the box, headed away brilliantly, and again a good tackle from Wayne Brooksby, but still Fylde come forward here. Blinkhorn into the area, back here to Allen. Allen onto the right hand side. Denson with a cross, goes up towards the back post, headed over by Ryan Toulson, with Blinkhorn just working at the back post, ready to poach.
Yeah, lovely attacking play by Fylde again, really forcing the pace, trying to get the ball into the box. Guiseley having to be in there and organised and alert to get that away.
Dangerous times these for Guiseley. It's a 2-goal lead, but you do feel if Fylde felt the momentum coming back with them with a goal now, we'd be in for a really torrid period. This one whipped in now towards the back post, helped away by Ryan Toulson. The bit between the teeth for the home side. The ball delivered again by Sumner into the box over the centre half, Hannigan, who had kept forward from the corner and beyond him for a goal kick. Slightly hysterical 3 in front of us now.
I can't work out if they're laughing or shivering or both, or possibly crying.
This is, I think we just go through the mantra in front of us. It's just a game. It's never just a game, is it?
Oh, no, it is just a game. Until we win. And we never do in the playoffs, so it's only a game.
Tempers are obviously getting a little bit frayed out there. Baker has been spoken to by the referee. Brad Barnes is having a word with the referee, and I think what they're saying is, when is Stephen Drench going to take this goal kick?
Well, they were delaying it by having the conversation with the referee.
Yeah. The goal kick is taken, headed on. Danny Boschel now can't get the ball under control in field. Pitch doesn't quite run true here, does it? It's got a camber. It's a bit uneven infield in the middle of the pitch.
Well, no, and that Danny Lowe mistake a few moments ago happened just because he took his eye off the ball and it bobbled just in front of him as he was about to make the pass.
Battle with Blinkhorn looking to win the ball, gives it to Danny Rowe. Rowe crosses into the box, it's a great ball, but there's a flag up, thankfully, and Guiseley will get a free kick. It looked like Richie Allen must have just strayed offside when he received the ball. He did well, actually, to chest it down, and in the end it's a Guiseley free kick inside the penalty area.
And of course, all of these stops and resets, these are fine for Guiseley. These give them a chance to move their whole defensive unit forward.
23 minutes to go. It feels like an age yet. Guiseley lead 2-1 on the day. 3-1 on aggregate. Andy Holdsworth and Danny Boschel, 2 fine goals. Holdsworth's a particular beauty. Brooksby now on the ball for Guiseley. Chips past 1, chips past 2, is pulled down, but he's going to win the throw-in anyway, not the free kick. And Guiseley throw in midway through the Fylde half on the right-hand side. You can just about hear the Guiseley fans, you can probably hear them quite clearly. Travelled in good number again today, haven't we?
Yeah, absolutely, and plenty of sound around the ground as we see Richie Baker heading off. I think he's being replaced by Liam Thompson.
Yeah, Liam Thompson is coming on. Substitute that was made on Wednesday night as well, late on, with Thompson making an introduction. Dave Challoner opting to introduce him again today. Now the throw-in is taken. Wayne Brooksby just keeps the ball down towards the corner. Danny Lloyd is furious that the throw-in has been given to Guiseley. Again, the throw will be taken by the Lions. Taking our time at the moment on the ball. Gavin Rothery holds it up and then he's tackled, or loses the ball rather. He just passes it out of play. That's rather frustrating. It gives Fylde immediate opportunity to change the dynamic of the play and they get players forward, and guys have to reset themselves in defensive shape.
Well, you're not going to shut a team out for 45 minutes. You're not going to shut them out even for the remaining 20 or so minutes of this game. But any opportunity to hold on to the ball, not to give it away cheaply, not to give an opportunity, guys, they need to be getting as many of those decisions right as they possibly can.
Header from Danny Lowe to clear. The ball goes back through from Brad Barnes' follow-through header to Stephen Drench. I feel we need another goal in this game.
Well, you are the arch pessimist.
I know,
Colin, of all of us. I think as you listen around the ground, I think the Fylde fans are feeling like we're in a better position than you and I feel.
Possibly. Guys, he robbed the ball back off Allen with Danny Lowe working so hard today again, as he did on Wednesday night. Ball into Ollie Johnson, as he's done all season. Ollie Johnson's running forward, takes a shot from distance. It's a good drive, well saved from the goalkeeper Hinchcliffe. Palms it behind. It's a Guiseley corner.
And that's the first opportunity Ollie Johnson has had all game to get a shot on goal. He hasn't taken any that he thinks are just going to be charged down. He's taken his time, much as he did to create the goal on Wednesday. But Fylde have done a really good job of closing him down, not giving him an opportunity to get his shot away. And just that it was just the opportunity came there because it was in transition, the ball moving so quickly, they didn't have a chance to get to him.
Well, Guiseley with the corner from the left-hand side. Wayne Brooksby will take. They've got the big men forward in Hall and Lawler, the centre halves in the box. The ball whipped in towards the 6-yard box, headed away inside that 6-yard area. It was curling in towards the near post. It needed to be headed by Allen. Back here with Brooksby. Into the feet now of Toulson. Toulson chips it into the area once again, up towards Ollie Johnson. Flicked away now by Denson, and now in with Sumner. The left back gets the ball only as far as Wayne Brooksby, who's then heavily tackled. And Thompson, I think, will be spoken to by the referee for that challenge. In fairness, it was a full-blooded 50-50 challenge, I think. It's just that Wayne Brooksby got there first before Liam Thompson on that occasion. The referee doesn't book him and just has a quiet word.
Yeah, they always look worse when they happen at pace, don't they? But he did clip Brooksby, and right decision, just a free kick and nothing more.
Low now, chips past one, goes into the area, slips at the key moment just as he was wanting to cross the ball inside the penalty area, and it goes harmlessly out for a goal kick. Fine margins again, but Danny Lowe had worked so well to get an angle open in the penalty area to cross, and then slipped, and the ball goes out for a goal kick. 71 minutes gone.
I'm sorry, Colin. Far from the first time we've seen a player lose his footing there as Danny Boschel is shoved to the ground by a Fylde player. But it has been raining all day, and the pitch is a little bit soft in places, as you'd expect. Fairly good surface for this stage of the season, but there have been players going down. And Danny Lowe's been working so hard today, all the way up in the box, and didn't manage to keep his footing.
Now, guys, you need to defend because the goalkeeper Hinchcliffe came right out of his area, took the ball almost to the halfway line before launching this one clear. Ball bounces towards us. Again, our nervousness about very swiftly being taken off air by a football returned, but this time it bounces away from us. But again, the goalkeeper Hinchcliffe got to come up to the halfway line and really should have been closed down by Ollie Johnson or Adam Boys. Was allowed to run on an awful long way.
Yeah,
go on.
Sorry, we're doing it again. He's going to get more and more opportunities, Ollie Johnson or Adam Boys, to try and close the goalkeeper down, because Hinchcliffe and all of the defenders are going to have to take more chances in the next 18 minutes.
Throw in for Guiseley inside their own half. Level with the centre circle. I keep looking at that clock thinking, have I told everyone what the time is? 72 minutes or 73? I just said it last one, 71. I think I'm going to do that every minute. It'll be a minute check at this rate. Throw-in's taken, back into Fylde half and back into Fylde's possession. They send it long. Stephen Drench has to clear from his feet with two Fylde players following down on him. No hint of a Guiseley substitute as yet. Adam Boys will just make sure that the goalkeeper this time is hurried into his clearance. It goes high into the area. It actually finds Barnes well. Lloyd it was. And then it's helped away by Ryan Toulson and back to the goalkeeper, Ben Hinchcliffe.
Yeah, we're not used to having a scoreboard, are we? That's where the time updates are coming from. We're staring right at it, bright red. It's the easiest thing in the ground to see. As you say that, though, both Alex Johnson and Liam Dickinson have been putting the shin pads in over on the Guiseley bench. They're not been warming up. They're not ready to come on by any means, but they're the two who look like they're most likely to get the call.
Well, Michael Barnes is now going to come on for Fylde, the final substitute. Luke Denson. Colwyn Bay. Is it Colwyn Bay, Luke Denson? Former Colwyn Bay player?
I think so.
Evidence, do your research before the game. Michael Barnes will come on to replace him. He was started on Wednesday night.
No, I thought you had a good game on Wednesday as well. Rich Allen's played well again today. You can understand the competition for places. Good squad, but he looked dangerous playing out on the left, certainly in the first half on Wednesday.
Fylde will look to get back into this. We've been here before, haven't we, leading? Late on in a playoff game. 2-1. Didn't end that well on that occasion in Telford. Our first playoff final. Ball into the box again by Fylde. Back here. Barnes. Michael Barnes plays it over the top. Lloyd is chasing to try and win it, and in the end forces Brooksby back, but he and Toulson combine to clear, and it's back into the Fylde half. Adam Boyes has to chase this one down. The goalkeeper Hinchcliffe out, plays it into the Guiseley half. Wayne Brooksby tries to let that one go out, but Toulson has to complete the clearance to keep it away from the Fylde players that are trying to win that ball. Sumner now, as I think they've gone 3 at the back, possibly Fylde. Barnes, Brad Barnes, the captain, plays the ball forward as far as Lloyd. Lloyd chips it, and it's intercepted by Toulson. Played forward now by Wayne Brooksby into the right-hand corner, and it's gone behind for a Fylde goal kick.
Can I do this one then? 14 minutes left.
Come on, ref, where's your whistle? It's got to be full-time. Oh, 14 minutes. Still 2-1 up. But it's Fylde onslaught at the moment towards the edge of the area. Chance here for Allen to thread the ball through. Finds Rowe. Rowe onto the right-hand side. Finds Michael Barnes. He crosses into the area. Blocked well by Danny Hall. And it'll go out for a Fylde throw on the right-hand side. Michael Barnes will take. He's got 2. He's going to go short to one of those 2. One of them is Allen, but Ollie Johnson intercepts, but unfortunately concedes a corner at the same time. So it's a corner for Fylde from the right-hand side.
Yeah, and worth noting that once again, everybody but Ollie Johnson tucked in. Johnson only about 10 yards outside of the Guiseley area himself.
This one whips in towards the back post. Stephen Drench claims comfortably inside the area. Surprisingly not challenged by any Fylde players. Claims the ball, rolls it out here to Ryan Toulson. Toulson takes it over the halfway line. Can Toulson get some pace forward? Ollie Johnson the only man forward at the moment. And thanks for that, Dave. The ball comes in from Ryan Toulson up towards Boyes in the end, headed away by Michael Barnes. But Ollie Johnson wins it, plays it square here to Danny Lowe. Lowe holds it up. Danny Boschel holds the play, just keeps possession of the ball. Makes Fylde come to challenge, and the Lions just enjoy a little spell of triangular passing, holding onto the ball, a little bit of a training ground move or two before it goes up towards Danny Lowe and beyond him, and Langley makes the clearance happily fine from that earlier injury that he sustained, but Guiseley win the ball back here. Andy Holdsworth, scorer of Guiseley's second goal today, wins the ball back for Guiseley and gives it here to Ollie Johnson. Lions in the Fylde half. Boschel into Ollie Johnson. Ollie Johnson plays it out to the left-hand side here. Danny Lowe on the halfway line. Bright orange boots. Plays it down the left-hand side towards Ollie Johnson. Ollie Johnson chases it. Holds on to it up against the substitute Liam Thompson. And Thompson takes the ball away from him rather easily. And Guiseley now of turning attack into defence. But the good tackle comes in from Adam Boyes and Danny Lowe, and in the end it's gone all the way back for a Fylde goal kick.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see if Matt Bauer does make any substitutions. Ollie Johnson, we don't expect ever to last 90 minutes, and he was gritting his teeth chasing that one down.
I just wonder whether he might just have had his most impactful moments in this game. I know we've only got 12 minutes left. Anything can happen, of course. So if it were to happen and we were pegged back, it obviously wouldn't last the injury time or extra time.
No, of course the decision is who you bring on instead, and neither Liam Dickinson nor Alex Johnson could be expected to offer what Ollie Johnson has offered to the game so far, and with those being the two options, I think Mark's just waiting to see how close he can get to the end before making that decision.
Free kick now to Fylde. It's in a dangerous position again. A few yards in from the touchline on the right-hand side as they attack the Lions' goal. 2 standing over it. One of them, Michael Barnes, who will take it. No, it's going to be Sumner. Sumner crosses it in with the left footed towards the back post, punched away by Stephen Drench. Brain Brooksby gets enough of a touch away. He goes to ground, but nothing given. Here with Richie Allen, gets the ball back into the area, headed away by Danny Hall. Guiseley still pegged into their own penalty area. Back here to the substitute Barnes. Barnes whips the ball in, and it's a chance for a goal. Brad Barnes, I think it was, who took the header. It was a good delivery from Michael Barnes. Brad Barnes, I think, headed it past the upright behind for a goal kick.
Oh, and that was a great opportunity to arrive on the end of a really good cross. Hammered the header in, just past the post. Guiseley still going.
Stephen Drench being encouraged to get on with it. Do you know, I would bring on Alex Johnson for Ollie at the moment. Somebody who would run at that defence, just run and close down and run for, lead from the front, defend from the front, chase everything down. At the moment, though, it's a long forward from Guiseley by Jake Lawler. Has gone out for a throw-in for Fylde inside their half in their right-back position.
I agree with you, Colin. I'd forgotten actually the other option, although I haven't seen much of him warming up, is Nicky Boschel, who would make sense out here on the left. But whatever it is, guys, they can't afford a sudden dip in energy or effort. So whoever comes on has to know they've got to put in 10 minutes or whatever it is of their very best.
Well, Mark's made the right calls so far in this double header against Fylde. So I'm sure he'll continue to do so with the best calls. And at the moment, we're 2-1 up with 10 minutes to go. 3-1 on aggregate, but there's still plenty of football yet to be played, I'm sure, in this 10 minutes, as Fylde are beginning to really camp in the Guiseley half, have been camping in the Guiseley half. Haven't broken down yet, but they've had a good chance just a few moments ago. A header that's just been headed wide by Brad Barnes. They've got the ball again in the... Well, they're going to get the ball again in the Guiseley half now with a long one forward up towards the edge of the 18-yard box. Good header from Danny Lowe. Guiseley need to start winning these second phase balls back in this last 10. Otherwise, they're really going to be up against it. Header forward, it's found Richie Allen. Allen plays a lovely little ball into the area. Blinkhorn tries to take. He can't get it. It goes all the way back. Stephen Drench claims, and we can breathe a sigh of relief.
Yes, and as the minutes tick by, the challenge of getting the 2 goals to bring the aggregate score back level gets bigger for Fylde. But we know all about the last minute and injury time, and
yeah,
sort of we've been there, haven't we? So let's. Yeah.
Oh no. Football.
Yes.
Gavin Rothery on the ball now on the right-hand side. He threads the ball towards Boys. It's blocked. Headed on by Ryan Tulson. Picked up now by Wayne Brooksby. Ollie Johnson's in the area if he can find him. He decides not to play the cross and prefers to hold on to possession for a few seconds more. Danny Boschel chips forward over everyone, back to the goalkeeper. In the end, I'd rather see us take the cross, take the opportunity to press the defence. Who knows where it might end up? It could end up with a corner, it could end up with a throw-in, but at least it's better than that, which is a cheap surrender of possession.
Yeah, I think it's always slightly dubious benefit trying to run the clock down for the sake of a few seconds, running it into the corner, maybe in the last minute or two of a game, but for now, there's plenty of time still to play.
7 minutes to go. Fylde on the ball on the left-hand side, moving well with purpose down that left-hand side, and then Danny Boschel takes a rough touch of the ball and puts it behind for a corner to Fylde.
Yeah, heavy touch in the box that from Danny, and as he saw it going out, he thumped it into the fence behind the goal in frustration that he'd had to concede that corner there.
Discipline required. Fylde with the corner. The ball whipped in again. It's a good one this time. Flicked wide by Josh Langley. He won the header, but he couldn't direct it on target. Guiseley have the goal kick.
Another good opportunity for Fylde, that in the box. He rose well. He needed to get the header on target. He was going for the left-hand, Stephen Drench's left-hand post, trying to get it down into the ground, but not on target.
83 and 41 seconds. It's turning Alan Partridge here, isn't it?
Turning?
More Alan Partridge. The ball's gone out. Getting a bit giddy here. Fylde have a throw-in inside their own half in right-back position. It's gone back to the goalkeeper, Ben Hinchcliffe, has taken it out of the area and tried to send it forward. He actually hit Wayne Brooksby with the clearance. It bounced wickedly off Brooksby into the feet of Sumner, but Brooksby's taken the ball back off him. Down to the corner flag now for Brooksby. Brooksby plays it back here. Tilson will cross. He gets an interception on it, and it's behind, and it's a Guiseley corner.
Well, while we've been struggling with nerves and hypothermia, the men out there on the pitch are doing a lot better, and that time it was Guiseley actually doing something useful with the ball, forcing the corner. Interesting to see usual players going into the box, one or two defenders, midfielders left back, and it's been taken short anyway, which is a bit of a waste.
What's the point of that? What is the point? Now we've got our defenders upfield and they've run the possession back. And in the end, it's a throw-in. And Jake Lawler and Danny Hall have made a fruitless run upfield. And it should have been delivered. Or played short and they didn't venture.
Better communication needed. You've got Lawler and Hall trotting up into the box just to find out that they're not going to be involved in the play.
Brilliant play by Guiseley, though. They win the ball back, and then Wayne Brooksby takes it past one, goes up against Brad Barnes, takes it past him, but he gets a tackle in on him, and Guiseley win another corner. Excellent work on 2 occasions in the last few minutes from Wayne Brooksby, and Brooksby has earned Guiseley yet another corner.
Yeah, and it was a good challenge by Barnes, actually. Brooksby trying to knock it past him and sort of beat him for pace. Barnes was almost static, had to time that challenge really well, but at the expense of this corner.
Ball up here into the area. Danny Hall goes to collect. The keeper claims it really well. Now they can see the counter-attack on if they can move the ball quickly upfield. Adam Boyce tries to close this one down. The ball goes cross-field towards Lloyd, beyond Lloyd, and out for a throw-in. And the home fans are getting very frustrated.
Well, if they were watching guys in the first half, they would know you can't play a long ball like this in the conditions today. On your right foot, it was curling in towards the centre of the pitch, and the wind met it and helped it, and it just ended up going out square.
I think I heard the attendance is 950. Which feels like there's more in here, actually. Boys has won the ball. Plays the ball into Wayne Brooksby. Brooksby's working hard with players around him. Can't win the ball. He's pulled to the ground. And in the end, actually, the free kick's given against him. And now Wayne Brooksby and Lloyd are having a bit of a coming together, and the referee is going to speak to Wayne Brooksby and to, I think, Lloyd.
Well, these are two of the hottest heads on the pitch. Actually, they're both really exciting players to watch, but they've both had plenty to say for themselves and have been involved in a lot of these little incidents over both games, and the referee just having a bit of a word.
Well, the cards are going to come out for both of them. A yellow card for Lloyd and a yellow card for Brooksby, if you wouldn't mind doing the honours, Nick, just in case. 3 minutes to go. Guiseley, 2-1 up on the day, 3-1 up on aggregate, and yet it still feels like a long, long way to go before the final 90 are up here. Free kick for Fylde, deep in their own half, and they're all lining up on the edge of the Guiseley 18-yard box to take this one from the goalkeeper into the area, above everyone, over everyone. The referee's given a corner. He's given a corner. And I'm not quite sure where the touch came from any Guiseley player there. But a corner has been given.
And I tell you, however many were in the ground before, there's fewer now. There's been fans leaving for the last few minutes in significant numbers. They've obviously not seen the playoffs before.
This one comes into the area. It's up in the air. Nobody can get on the end of it. Stephen Drench is blocked. He can't claim it. And eventually does, under pressure from 3 players. I think he got a little bit of lucky in terms of the way the ball fell. But that was a real harum-scarum moment there.
Well, how Drench has won the ball there. He was the shortest of the men trying to collect it, but as you say, he was lucky that the ball came almost down to where he tried to take it the first time, but to get it with 2 hands almost in front of the Fylde player's face from standing behind him. Really impressive.
Michael Barnes chips this one into the area. It's over the top of Danny Hall, goes down towards the touchline. It's out, and it's a goal kick. And those words, goal kick, at the moment feel like goals, don't they? They're just so important.
Well, just to be clear, there's only about 90 seconds of regular time left. Guys, they have a 2-goal lead on aggregate, so it would take 2 goals to force this to extra time. Referee's just telling Stephen Drench to make sure he gets on with it. Of course, there will be quite a bit of injury time. There was the long wait while Langley was down in the Guiseley penalty area. There's been a few substitutions, and I suspect we'll see maybe 3 or 4 minutes, something like that, added on.
And breathe. Hinchcliffe, long one forward. All the bodies into the area. Guiseley concede the free kick. Danny Hall is adjudged to have bundled over Blinkhorn. This is in a incredibly dangerous position. Just outside the D, on the right-hand side. And this is going to be very, very tense last few moments here if Fylde were to snatch a goal from this position. And they've got a great opportunity here, Nick.
Yeah, only one man interested in taking this, and that's Danny Lloyd, the number 10. There are 5 almost in there. There are now 5 in the wall for Guiseley.
Free kick to be taken by Lloyd into the wall, but bounces into the penalty area again. Guiseley clear. Ollie Johnson has to work hard to try and keep this one in play. He can't. But again.
And I think the referee's just going to have to stop the game for a moment here. There's actually a flare on the pitch down in the penalty area. I don't know who's put that in there, but we can do without that, whoever's done that.
It's not good, is it? It's not good.
It's bright orange, and I think the word from the Fylde fans around us is they reckon that maybe that's a Blackpool fan looking to make some trouble at a different ground today.
4 added minutes. We've had the 90. There's going to be a substitute, and Danny Boschel looks like he's going off in place of brother Nicky Boschel. So 4 minutes for Guiseley to hold on. They've got a 2-goal advantage, but you wouldn't put anything past the playoffs. And actually, you wouldn't put anything past Fylde. They've been a very free-scoring side this season. The throw-in on that occasion, disappointed from their perspective. Ollie Johnson now on the ball, skips past Tomsett. He looks ahead of him to try and rake it out towards Wayne Brooksby. Good ball, well taken from Brooksby. Holds it up. Guys, you just need to possess the football for a little while here. Played off the Fylde man. It'll be a Guiseley throw. Talking of flares, I heard that article on Non-League show about the fact they can cause asthma very badly in individuals suffering from it. I just don't like to see them.
No, I didn't know that, and I'm an asthma sufferer. I'm not too interested in getting anywhere near one of those. Then,
sure, it's not the regulars, that's for sure. Throw in for Fylde at the moment. Referee is going to have to hold on for a moment here because there is another Guiseley substitute, and this time Adam Boys is going off, and it's Liam Dickinson who's coming on, and there's a good amount of applause for Adam Boys as he goes off the field. Guiseley leading by 2-1 into stoppage time. Substitutes using up a few seconds here in stoppage time. Fylde have a throw inside their own half in left-back position and get ready to launch another onslaught. They're ready to launch this one long from Hinchcliffe. He sends it up in the air, holds up in the wind a little bit this time, but still makes good distance. Good header from Danny Hall, a super one, finds Liam Dickinson. Gets a little bit of fortune on the touch of the ball. Liam Dickinson sends it in towards Nicky Boschel. Tom Hannigan is there ahead of him though. Sends it back to the goalkeeper. Up in the air towards Ollie Johnson. Andy Holdsworth nods on towards Liam Dickinson. Can't keep it in play though. And it is a throw-in.
Well, that's got to be nearly time. Come on, let's call it done. 93 minutes done now.
93, yeah, 93. Just about. Little push on Ollie Johnson there in the back. Nothing's given on that occasion. Important decisions potentially because Fylde come away with it now with Barnes, Michael Barnes on the right hand side, gets the ball into the box, in towards Blinkhorn, whose name I forgot momentarily there, and he chests it out of play and out for a goal kick.
Well, guys, he's still organising now. Andy Holdsworth still yelling at the referee, yelling at his teammates, trying to organise people like it's the first 10 minutes of the game, but the Guiseley fans are celebrating. The Fylde end, that main seated stand there, is emptying out rapidly. The tunnel's coming out. Everybody looks like they think this is done and dusted. Maybe we should be feeling that way too, but we certainly don't at the moment.
Ball forward, headed away by, and hoofed away by Gavin Rothery. Headed away by Ryan Toulson in the first instance, back to the goalkeeper. Just seconds remaining of the 4 added, half a minute left. It goes long, headed up in the air by Jake Lawler. Ollie Johnson has to try and chase this one. He does, he gets a touch on it though, but it means that Danny Lowe has to stop it going out for a corner, which he does. And he plays a nice one too with Ollie Johnson. Bit of skill from Ollie Johnson. Wins Guiseley a throw in left back position. The 4 minutes are up. It's just really, 15 seconds up to the 4 minutes. It's really whatever the referee decides to add on for the substitutes.
Yeah, there was one 92nd minute substitution of Liam Dickinson coming on, so I might see another 30 seconds or so added for that.
Fylde in possession, but Liam Dickinson battling hard to try and win it. And Guiseley, Fylde win a free kick there. I'm not quite sure what the decision was. Liam Dickinson looks accusingly. Nobody's too interested. They know the jobs are to do. And this time the job is to defend, and Guiseley now have to defend because Sumner is about to put this one into the area from the free kick. It goes up towards the edge of the 18-yard box. It's headed up. It's cleared by Danny Hall, taken down by Wayne Brooksby. Final whistle goes. Would you believe it? After going behind after just 20 seconds, Guiseley have turned it round from a 1-goal deficit to a 2-1 victory on the day and a 3-1 aggregate victory. Thanks to goals from Andy Holdsworth and Danny Boschel, the Lions are through to the promotion final. Full-time score here, AFC Fylde 1, Guiseley 2.
Well, I just have to comment on what's happening on the pitch there on full time. A group of young lads, they're not Guiseley fans, I suspect they're not Fylde fans either, all running onto the pitch from that main standing terrace behind the goal. Don't want to see any of that, but I saw one of the funniest things I've ever seen at a non-league game, which is there was one member of Fylde staff showing their thumb, showing them where to sling their hooks and tell them to get off, and they all ran straight off the pitch and jumped the fence behind. And it means we can talk about the end of this game properly now. But when we came here, we said Fylde needed to do something today that they hadn't done in 3 attempts against Guiseley this season, and that was to beat Guiseley just by even 1 goal, just to force extra time and penalties. And after just 20-something seconds, it looked like that was exactly what Fylde had come out to do. And 1-0 up, playing into the wind. Guiseley were at that stage really struggling to hold on to the ball, really struggling to make anything of it. It did look like it was going to be a really, really tough old afternoon, but Guiseley have been ever so professional. They took the 2 chances they had, 2 of the experienced old heads, Andy Holdsworth and the captain, the assistant manager Danny Boschel, taking the chances that they got, scoring the goals. So actually, we won today, Colin. We won 2-1. For all of the stress, we won today to add to the win at Nethermore. In the end, a fantastic performance. And let's spare a word for AFC Fylde while we're here. We've been in this position. We've been in the position of coming up to this division, of having made it to the playoffs in the first season and tasted defeat. We've also tasted the disappointment of having finished second and run a team really close to the title and having just missed out and then not making it over the line in the playoffs. So as we watch the Guiseley fans celebrating with the Guiseley players away to our left, I think full credit to AFC Fylde for the season that they've put together, for the guts and the heart that they showed today. And I want to mention in particular their captain, Brad Barnes. He put in a great performance in the face of injury and all the other things that were against him in the second half today. I think the right decision over the course of the 2 legs. Guys that can be proud of what they've achieved so far. And now, can I spoil the moment?
Go on.
Now we've got to turn our minds to next Saturday, and it's that time of year again. We don't know yet who we've got. It sounded like last time we heard Boston were ahead, and now possibly it's 2-2 there, so possibly going to extra time. I don't suppose anyone has a strong preference which of those 2 teams who finished 4th and 3rd that we draw to travel to next weekend. But for today, the job has been done, and Guiseley have a week to get themselves fit and healthy and get their minds refreshed. And Mark Bauer has a week with 2 clear training sessions to try and get his team organised and ready for the challenge that will come next.
Well, what a magnificent afternoon. What a magnificent afternoon. What a magnificent performance from the Lions. 2-1 victors here at Killinmerg Park as Guiseley win by 2-1 and win 3-1 on aggregate. AD, come here. We're still on. We're still on. So mind your language. What's that feel like?
I mean, if you look at the fans today, look at the reaction of the players, it's just, you come in as underdogs, massive underdogs, and I'm so proud of them. I can't tell you how proud I am. And what an effort from, these lads who've run out of legs, your Holdsworth and your Boschels, really. Tremendous performance. Everyone proud of the lot of them. Fantastic performance. Delighted.
Absolutely super, absolutely beaming. We're just delighted. As you can hear, we're all absolutely over the moon, the proverbial moon. We've got Chorley or Boston to come. It's 2-2 there next week. Tom, how did that feel?
Wow, I can't believe it. Absolutely incredible, and for the lads to put in that kind of effort during the last half an hour, it was great to see. What a goal by Andy Holdsworth, by the way. What an absolutely fantastic strike. Best of luck to Fylde for next season if we're not in the same league. I'm hoping we won't, but I don't want to say that at the moment because of our playoff record. But whoever we get. And I mean, the Guiseley fans have been absolutely fantastic, making so much noise. It is just great to see. I mean, you can hear them. It's just brilliant.
That says it all. Everyone is absolutely beaming. We're absolutely ecstatic. Radio Gold, yeah, absolutely. Brilliant.
What a moment. And then fans will turn up again, whether we go to Chorley or Boston, they'll be in fine voice again, and I can't wait for it.
Well, we're just absolutely delighted. Guiseley winning through the playoff semi-final, on to the promotion final again next Saturday, the 9th of May. The season goes on. What an amazing doubleheader that has been. And we will be there for full coverage of whatever may transpire, be it at Boston, be it at Chorley. But after a magnificent performance against what has to be said, a very talented and a very good AFC Fylde side, the Lions are through to the promotion final. Hope you enjoyed it today. We certainly did. We'll see you again next week. We're going to go and get some reaction from the players and find out what everyone thinks. See you again next Saturday.